Test 1 2, test 1 2, check, test 1 2. How did I look? About halfway up. Check, test 1 2, check, test 1 2. Part of it is getting these things closer. Let's see, where's the mic at? Right here. Check, test 1 2, check, test 1 2, test. Check, test 1 2, check, test 1 2. I think that sounds a lot better. Just turn them up further, but that keeps it up and right there at the bottom of the orange. If you see yourself getting too loud, you can cut them down. Did that turn out pretty good? I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, it did.
I know. That's why we need to get everybody else off the network. Oh no, it changes. It'll be timed with the video. It just means that the viewers at home will be about 40 seconds behind live. That's all it means. Huh? Yes, it is. Oh, it is. All right. Think about it. It's just a delay because of the. Oh, it looks like he's bringing some press box food.
Cinnamon pecan twists are really good. Oh, yeah.
Now, there's a couple. I know there's one change.
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
First of Bojangles.
Oh, thank you very much.
Some finger food.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Hope y'all can enjoy that during the game.
Yeah, we will.
Come back when it's okay.
Absolutely. Thank you. Oh, yes.
Joe brought the box home last night.
I don't know where to set it. But
Exactly. He loves Bojangles. In fact, he took a picture. That's my picture on my Bojangles cup.
This has officially become the greatest job in the world. Anything where free food is involved.
Well, in this economy, if a job does come with something free, it is free.
That's good. Yeah. Don't put the first quarter. Put the other thing back up there. It's not first quarter.
I'm sorry, I forgot about it.
What was up with the video from last week? I tried to watch the game and do a little film study, and
It was TLS play on sports problem because they said they had 4 people that had that happen to. I don't know. I'm hoping it doesn't happen tonight. We should be okay.
because I was able, I watched, Ezell-Harding does their own.
Yeah.
Of course, they can't tonight because you all are already here, but
Oh,
I
really?
watched last week their video, and it looked good except for the fact that when it started to get dark.
Yeah. Their field's done well then.
Yeah.
No, it was something with the
Had like a minute 16 where
the play on network.
play it. Oh, it's in your seat
He said, oh, excuse me. He said it's up for grabs.
for the press box, huh?
Yeah.
I love those.
Is it gonna be like at every home game?
Before my life, but I love them now.
Have all your piano.
It's like at every home game. I'm not gonna eat before I got here.
He's 68.
Yeah, 68. Sorry.
Sam is 68 for the season now.
Yeah.
Right.
He went from a 2XL jersey to a large jersey.
Oh,
Wow.
Well, I mean, it's just because it was too big, too easy to
right.
grab.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay.
Do you have starters for both sides of the ball?
We got offense. I'm waiting to get defense. Offense is listed down at the bottom.
Nice.
We have one injury like that. It's not bad.
Nope.
It might be worse.
And I believe if they pushed him, if it was a district game, he would play. But because he's been working out with us.
Right.
What did you say the password for the MTCS was?
We want to thank you for joining us as the Cougars get set to host the Patriots of White House Heritage High. Bartleson's going to drop to throw, going to look over the middle, and it's going to be caught by Kyle Pitts, and he's going to be planted up near the 40. He's going to throw it long for Eric Compton.
Compton's wide open.
He caught it. He caught it down at the 30-yard line.
I can't connect Wi-Fi anywhere anymore.
Liquidation outlet, definitely.
Is there any capital letters? What? Any capital letters?
Yeah, we will.
My iPhone being stupid. Is it MICHEAEL?
Well, supposedly, I think all the ones on the board get some kind of mention during the game. Evans, Auto Exchange, Andy Stevens. See, there's a couple of new ones. That's a good question.
Yes, indeedy. As another big weekend of high school football is upon us, it's time once again for Murphy's Matchups with the guru of high school football in Tennessee, Murphy Fair. Brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. And now here with the AAA matchups, here's Murphy Fair. Wobar.
Keith, thank you so much. We are now approaching week 1 of the high school football season here in Tennessee. We will start in AAA as we usually do in East Tennessee. Dobyns-Bennett playing host to the Dragons of Clinton High School. Dobyns-Bennett was 10-0 last year. Clinton 0-10. This one's a no-brainer. Look for the Indians to romp. Science Hill at Elizabethton. Kind of like Science Hill to maybe start to show its stuff a little bit this year. Cherokee should beat Daniel Boone. I like Jefferson County over Tennessee High of Bristol. Look for Sevier County to knock off Knoxville Halls. Bearden should beat Morristown East. I like Campbell County over Cumberland County. Look for Greenville, a 14-10 winner over Morristown West last year, to do it again this year. Should be very close again, I think, though. White County should top Seymour. Look for Oak Ridge to beat Farragut. I like Carnes over Gallatin County, Kentucky. Anderson County should beat Knoxville Grace. It was a great game last year, Grace winning 21-20. Powell should top Austin East. I like Hardin Valley Academy over Heritage. Knoxville Central should beat William Blount, and I like Alcoa over Maryville. This is a special Sunday 12 noon Eastern kickoff on ESPNU. Ought to be a great national game for both of those teams. Cleveland High School should beat Knoxville Catholic. I like Baylor over Bradley Central. Look for Ottawa to top East Hamilton in a good game down in the Chattanooga area. I like Saudi Daisy over Red Bank, and Brainerd should beat Ray County. In Middle Tennessee, I like Marshall County over Coffee County. Look for Tullahoma to knock off Cookville. Shelbyville should beat Warren County rather handily. I like Riverdale to beat Louisville Ballard, Kentucky. This is a 4-game Saturday extravaganza at Papa John's Stadium in Louisville. I like Siegel over Lincoln County. Oakland should beat Hunters Lane. Look for Brentwood to top Smyrna. I like Laverne over Wilson Central. Columbia Central should beat Dixon County. And I like Franklin County to win at Lebanon. By the way, this will be the home opener for Lebanon's Blue Devils at the new high school over there. Giles County should beat Lawrence County. Quarterback Al Cobb, just too much for the Lawrence County Wildcats. Look for Henry County, the defending 5A state champion, to beat Beach, but in a very close game. I like Mount Juliet over McGavock. Nashville Christian should beat Hillwood. Look for Hendersonville to beat Franklin, Gallatin to beat Springfield, and Station Camp to beat Antioch in a very close game there. Clarksville Northeast should beat Rossview. I like Christian County, Kentucky over Clarksville Christian County, a top 20 team in the Bluegrass State. Look for Paducah Tillman to beat West Creek. Centennial should top Nashville Overton. Hillsboro over FRA. Craig Clayton brings the passing attack there to Hillsboro, and Glencliff to beat Westmoreland. Out west, I like Brighton over Raleigh, Egypt. Look for Liberty out of Jackson to beat Dyer County. Covington should top Munford. Look for Chester County to beat Hardin County, and Arlington should beat White Station. Last year, Arlington, a 20-13 winner over the Spartans. Another great game should be in store for fans this year. I like Millington over Kirby. Wooddale should beat Cordova. Houston over Bolton. Ridgeway over Louisville, Mississippi. A bit of a rebuilding year for the Roadrunners, but nonetheless, I think Ridgeway a winner in that one. Christian Brothers should beat Germantown. Collierville should beat Hillcrest. Look for Whitehaven to beat Fairleigh. Memphis Central over Memphis Northside. Hamilton should top Fayette Ware. Memphis East over Briarcrest. And Keith, I like Melrose over Memphis Overton.
Yes, indeedy. And Murphy, speaking of high school football, when this big fella was playing, I dated one of the cheerleaders until we had a nasty breakup. That's when she took me to court
Yes, Keith?
to have our first date annulled. Voila! And we'll be right back with more of Murphy's Matchups after this time out.
A hat says a lot about a man. Who he is, what he does, what he stands for. Hey, this is Charlie. Join me as I switch out my traditional red hat with a limited edition pink hat. Farm Bureau Insurance is proud to be a statewide partner with the American Cancer Society's Making Strides Against Breast Cancer. Visit your local Farm Bureau office and get your own pink hat for a minimum donation of $5. Find an office near you at FBITN.com.
Hello, this is Bruce Daniel with Huff and Puff Trucking. When we hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with just a handful of good folks, we knew we would have to huff and puff just to make a living. But with a lot of grit and hard work, we have become a flatbed carrier that delivers freight all over the United States and Canada. We haven't lost sight of things that are important. We focus on our employees and giving back to our community. Our company is built on dedicated individuals who know Huff and Puff Trucking is not just a catchy name, but a work ethic to be proud of.
We're back on Murphy's Matchups as the coach of Northeast High School in Clarksville, Isaac Shelby, is joining the Guru.
Isaac Shelby at Northeast High School in Clarksville, our guest coach, and it's been an interesting 3 or 4 months, I guess, over the summer, primarily because of your Mr. All Everything, Jalen Reeves-Maben. Tell us a little bit about what he does for Clarksville Northeast and how that process has worked all summer long with the recruiting.
In terms of football, he plays quarterback for us. He's an option quarterback. We play out of the gun, and he has a lot of responsibility over there. He was also an all-state linebacker last year as a junior, so he plays linebacker, a little bit of safety. He can play corner and spots and really plays all over the field for us on defense. This past summer was spent a lot of time spent at camps in between practices here and there. Didn't miss a practice for a camp the whole summer. When we had practice, he was there, and when we were off, he spent time at camps. He was invited to opening in Oregon for the top 150 athletes in the country. He went out there and showed well and really showed well all summer long. Once he gets in front of coaches, he's a real personable guy, and a lot of people like him.
Last week, he finally got rid of the pressure and made his decision and has announced that he's going to play for the University of Tennessee next year. But instead of maybe letting things get back to normal, you told me before the interview that maybe they're still just as crazy because everybody wants to talk to that future UT guy.
Yeah, it is. We thought the attention would kind of slough off, but that hasn't happened. It hadn't happened from college coaches. It hadn't happened from media folks. A lot of people want to talk to him, and they want to know what he feels about Knoxville and Coach Dooley. And the other college coaches that are recruiting him are all still recruiting him just as hard or harder than they were before he decided to go to UT.
I think he's an amazing young man, as are several of the young men that are on the cover of my magazine this year. I've actually seen Jalen out of uniform more than I have on the field, and he's an exceptional young man, and you can't help but want to wish the best for a guy like that.
He is. He's a great teammate. All the kids enjoy being around him. He has not changed one bit since the moment all this stuff happened, from the time he was a freshman. He started for us as a freshman. He's the exact same person. He's the exact same student. He's the exact same practice player that he was then, and it hasn't changed at all. And that's what's refreshing about a kid. You don't always get that all the time. You know, people get excited about talking with him in microphones and being on the opening and on TV and on ESPN. And most kids, it changes. It didn't change him.
Coach, we've talked a lot about Jalen, but obviously you have a lot of other players on the Northeast football team that are outstanding on the football field as well.
We do. We return 18 to 22 starters this year. We're real excited about that. We have a little hole to fill at linebacker. We have a hole to fill at receiver from graduation, but we have young kids that have kind of stepped up into those roles, and this is the first season at Northeast since I've been there that we've been really excited about the depth. We played a lot of juniors and a lot of sophomores last year and a few freshmen here and there, and all those guys are back. We haven't lost any big transfers out. You know, being the north side of Clarksville military is just one of those years where it kind of lined up that way. We didn't lose anybody. But we're real excited about the future. We have outstanding offensive linemen, Warwick Marsh, who's a preseason All-State player, and he has offers from UT Martin and Murray State. We have a lot of good kids that are all over the field, and we've got to spread the ball out to them to be successful.
One final quick question. You're in the same district with defending 5A state champion Henry County, but I think everyone in this district's not only chasing the Patriots, they're chasing Northeast as well.
Well, I don't know about that. You know, Henry County's wearing the ring. We're chasing Henry County, and what everybody else is doing is what they're doing, but we respect Henry County. We went down there twice last year, and we know what they're capable of, and our kids understand that that's a great football program, and that's what we're trying to be.
Coach Shelby, thanks so much for your time. Good luck this fall.
Thanks, sir.
And we thank you, fellows, and we shall return with more of Murphy's Matchups after this time out.
Deciding where to attend college should not be a difficult decision. Choose a school that will provide you with one-to-one attention students deserve. Choose a school that is going to make an investment in you. Cumberland University has a reputation for unparalleled personal attention. Cumberland students take pride in the fact that their professors help them find success for life after college. Find out how Cumberland University can help you find success. Check us out online at www.cumberland.edu.
Hey, it's Charlie. Everybody knows I have Farm Bureau insurance on all my vehicles. My daddy had it on his vehicles, and so did my papa. And while I've been tremendously happy with them, I can sure understand why you wouldn't want to just take my word for it. So instead, take this guy's word for it.
In a 2012 U.S. Auto Insurance study by J.D. Power & Associates, Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee was given the award for the highest customer satisfaction among auto insurers in the Southeast region.
Yeah, what he said.
For J.D. Power & Associates award information, go to jdpower.com.
We're back on Murphy's Matchups, and here he is, the guru of Tennessee high school football, Murphy Fair.
Thank you, Keith. We'll now take a look at Class AA and Class Single A games here in Week 1 of the 2012 high school football season. Starting in East Tennessee in AA, Happy Valley should have no trouble with Unaka. I think Sullivan East gets the better of Volunteer, even though Volunteer a much larger high school. Look for Sullivan North to take on Eastside Virginia in Virginia, but North I think comes away with a win there. Unicoi County should beat Chucky Doak. I look for that one to be a very good game, however. Cumberland Gap should beat Union County. Look for Knoxville West to beat Fulton. Lenoir City and Loudon get together in the Battle of the Bridge. They've been doing this for many, many years. I think Lenoir City tops Loudon in that game this year. Look for Carter to beat Granger. Gibbs should be all over Claiborne. Gatlinburg-Pittman coach Benny Hammonds returns to his alma mater of Cocke County, but I think Pittman comes away with a win in that one. CAK, the defending 3A state champion, should have no trouble with the Darlington School in Georgia. Kingston should knock off Harriman in a great in-county rivalry there. Stone Memorial should beat Sweetwater. I like York Institute to beat Scott High School. Scott won it 16-7 last year, but I think a different story this time around. Look for Polk County to beat Chattanooga Central. Notre Dame should top McMinn Central. I like Sequatchie County over Meigs County. Signal Mountain should beat Tyner Academy. Could be much closer than it was last year, 38-6 in favor of Signal Mountain. Boyd Buchanan over East Ridge, and Hickson should beat Walker Valley. In Middle Tennessee, a much improved DeKalb County team should have no trouble with Clay County. I like Upperman over Monterey. Look for Chattanooga Grace to beat Cannon County. A big rivalry for many years. White House in Portland, although White House has kind of had the control of this one for the last several years. I think they get another win this time around as well. Good Pasture taking on Trinity Christian of Florida, another part of that big extravaganza at Papa John's Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. I think Good Pasture comes away with a win. Greenbrier should beat Creekwood. Look for Trousdale County to beat Macon County. CPA should top Clarksville Kenwood. I like Blackman over Pearl Cone. Brentwood Academy should beat Maplewood. Pope John Paul II over East Nashville. Jerry Joslin working his magic again at JP2. Whites Creek should beat Stratford. I like Independence over Page. A Williamson County battle, but it's a 4A against a 6A Independence school. Cheatham County should beat Sycamore. For Harpeth to beat Hickman County. I like East Hickman over Waverly. Hearing an awful lot of good things about this East Hickman spread offense team. And Montgomery Central over East Robertson. Turning our attention now to West Tennessee, still in Class AA. I like Jackson Southside over Crockett County, although the Cavaliers are improving a lot, but still have a little bit of work to do to catch up to Southside. Obion Central should beat Ripley. Kerry Craig, the new guy in town at Ripley, he will get her done. Look for Dresden to beat Gibson County. Lexington should beat Riverside. I like Jackson Northside over JCM, a great rivalry there in the city of Jackson. Mitchell should top Manassas. I like Westwood over Frazier. BTW over Carver. Memphis University School should beat Kingsbury. Kingsbury playing MBA last week and MUS this week. That's two tough openers for the Falcons. Look for Lewisburg, Mississippi to beat Oak Haven. Southwind should beat Sheffield. And Olive Branch, Mississippi over Tresvant. Now we look at single A games. Hampton in East Tennessee should beat Johnson County. I like North Green over Jellicoe. Great progress being made by Coach Josh Edens and his North Green Husky squad there in East Tennessee. Cosby should beat Kings Academy. I like Sunbright over Copper Basin. Oneida should beat West Green. Oneida a 24-20 winner last year. I look for a wider margin in that one this year, though. Oneida a very good football team. Pigeon Forge should beat Wartburg. I like Cofield over Cloudland. Rockwood should beat South Green. Look for Greenback to beat Oliver Springs. Whitwell should top Midway. And look for Lookout Valley to beat Chattanooga Christian. Running back Jamal Jones, an outstanding ball carrier for Lookout Valley. Look for Bledsoe County to beat Marion County. And South Pittsburgh to beat Grundy County in a big rivalry game. Here in Middle Tennessee, look for Oakdale to beat Pickett County. I like Smith County over Gordonsville. It took 2 overtimes for the Owls to beat the Tigers last year. This one ought to be awfully good again this time around in Carthage. Red Boiling Springs should beat Mount Juliet Christian. I like Friendship Christian, the defending 2A state champion, to beat White House Heritage. Jackson County should beat Richland. Look for Silverdale Baptist Academy to beat Community. Mount Pleasant should beat Spring Hill in a big Maury County matchup. Eagleville should beat McEwen. I like Houston County over Scotts Hill. And Collinwood should beat Forest in a very, very close game. Joe Burns should beat Cascade. A great rivalry involving two of Middle Tennessee's smaller schools. Look for Moore County to beat Cornersville. Columbia Academy should top Huntland. I like Loretta over Summit. Lewis County over Perry County. And Clarksville Academy over Stewart County. We'll go out west now, where the Milan Bulldogs entertain Humboldt, one of West Tennessee's long-standing rivalries. I think Milan gets the best of Humboldt, but it should be another great contest nonetheless. I like Camden over Brewston Central. Look for Westview to beat McKenzie. Union City travels to Waynesboro. We've got the defending 1A state champion playing host to one of the 1A contenders this year. I like the Tornadoes in that one. Huntington should beat Peabody. I like West Carroll to beat South Fulton. Lake County should get the measure of Fulton County, Kentucky. Adamsville over Bolivar Central. The Cardinals taking on another much larger school, but I think Adamsville comes away with the win. Halls should beat Tipton-Rosemark. Look for Middleton to beat Tupelo Christian, Mississippi. Forrest?
Yes, sir.
I like MAHS over Douglas.
I was missing last Friday night's high school games because of automobile trouble. So when I was calling Mr. Goodwrench,
Yes, Forrest.
he was telling me to call Mr. Tow Truck.
And we'll be back with more of Murphy's Matchups after this timeout.
From Maryville to Memphis, son, you better get this. Everywhere you go, I'm gonna be there too. I'll be there in Allgood, Berry Hill, and Brentwood. You can bet your buckle I'll be looking for you. Up in Nashville, I will find you. Down in Dixon, I'll be there. Out in Dover, pulling you over. Like your mama said, you better best beware. You better best beware, 'cause I'll be there. I'll be there.
Law enforcement is on the lookout for impaired drivers. In cities, towns, even out in the country. Booze it and lose it.
From Martin to McMinnville, Chattanooga, Churchill, Tullahoma, Trimble, and old Knoxville too. Out in Clearview, in your rear view. Let me tell you, son, I sure be looking for you. It's what I do. I'll be looking for you.
Paid for by the Governor's Highway Safety Office.
I'll be there. Beware.
Yes, indeedy. Thank you very much, and hello again, everybody. We are back on Murphy's Matchups, and here with the guru of high school football in Tennessee, Murphy Fair.
Woo! Hey, wait a minute,
Yes,
stupid.
Floyd.
You forgot to tell everybody about ballfrog.com.
Whoops, you're right. Be sure to visit ballfrog.com on the web to get live scoring updates on your favorite teams.
Stupid is as stupid does, Floyd.
And now here with the guru is the head coach of Peabody High School, Joe Gettis.
Joe, it's not your first time to West Tennessee, but that's kind of a no-brainer. You were raised in West Tennessee, weren't you?
Well, it was. I moved there in junior high school in Jackson, and then attended Old Jackson High School. I actually coached way back, and one of my first coaching jobs was at Ripley High School for a year. And then, of course, I was the head coach at Henry County High School the last, 6 of the last 8 or 9 years I was there. So pretty familiar with West Tennessee.
A lot of people who talk when Joe Gettis' name comes up talk about a guy who has happy feet. He can't stay put. Since I've known you, you've been, I think, at 5 or 6 different high schools, but you do it for reasons a little bit different than most. And here lately you've been to places where football maybe is a high priority, but they haven't been a winning program, and you've helped turn those around, probably the most notable being Henry County before you went to North Carolina and then came back to Peabody. You've been around it a long, long time, but it's pretty impressive to see that you still have that great desire.
Well, I do. And, I have moved around quite a bit, and it's just because I don't know if it's a unique passion, but I really have a passion for going into a place that's kind of down and trying to turn it around. And once we get that achieved after a number of years, I guess I'm always itching to do it again somewhere else. And at this stage of my career, though, I think I've found a place that I want to call home, and I really love Trenton, love Peabody High School, and not looking to leave there at all. So I think I'm going to be here a while.
You've been there a few months. Do you feel like you are where you thought you would be by the time the 2012 season started?
Yes, I think so. We've got a lot to do here. But the kids have really been tremendous. The community has been tremendous. The administration has been tremendous. And I think we're going to get it done here. We've made some progress in the last 5 or 6 months. We still have a long, long way to go, but I have no doubt that we'll get exactly where we want to be. It may take a little time. And with our schedule as brutal as it is, it's going to make it that much tougher, but it's going to happen.
Football in Northwest Tennessee has made some great strides over the last 10 years. I've been writing my magazine for 25, and I can remember when Northwest Tennessee was all basketball. But there's a pretty good mix of football, and some people might even say Northwest Tennessee is more football-oriented than basketball-oriented now.
Well, the places that I've been, certainly that's the case. And around this area, football is very important, if not king. And, of course, I like it that way. But football is very important in this area in West Tennessee for sure.
What are the things you see in your Trenton Peabody team this year that really get you excited, the things that you think are going to take you all places in 2012?
We have a good blend, Murphy, of talent, good athletes. I'm talking about wide receiver, running back, quarterback types, defensive backs. At the same time, we have some good-looking linemen. We have a strong senior class, so in some ways we'll start all over again next year. But I feel good. Like I said, our schedule is brutal, is probably a fair assessment. But I think when our district schedule rolls around, we have a chance to do some good things in our district and get into the playoffs and make some noise. And that's what I hope to be doing later on this season.
Joe, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We're glad you're back in West Tennessee, and I certainly wish you well at Peabody this fall.
Thanks a lot, Murphy.
Yes, indeedy. We thank you, fellas, and we shall return to wrap it up this week on Murphy's Matchups after this timeout.
Hello, everyone. This is Murphy Fair, Tennessee's high school football guru, to tell you about the good people who are Star Physical Therapy. You know, I don't normally make endorsements unless I feel extremely strong about a company, but Star Physical Therapy fits that bill. Star's clinicians have the most up-to-date technology and training at their disposal. They truly care about their patients and want to get them back on the field or back on the job 100% as soon as possible. And with more than 60 convenient locations in 3 states, Star Physical Therapy is convenient to just about everyone in the volunteer state. Check them out at starpt.com. You'll be glad you did.
We're back to wrap it up on Murphy's Matchups, and here's the star of the show, Murphy Fair.
Thank you, Keith. In our final segment involving Week 1 high school football games here in Tennessee, we'll take a look at Division II games starting in East Tennessee. Only one in the eastern part of the state involving Division II AA. That's Chattanooga-McCallie traveling up to Athens to take on the Cherokees of McMinn County. McCallie a big winner last year. I have no reason to believe they won't do the same thing again this time around. BGA traveling to Ravenwood there in Williamson County. I think BGA comes away a winner there. Father Ryan should beat Cane Ridge there in Nashville. Look for Innsworth, the 2-time defending state champion in Division II AA, to beat Knoxville Webb. Louisville Trinity, a great team out of the Bluegrass State. As a matter of fact, a top-ranked team out of Kentucky travels to Nashville to take on the NBA. I think Trinity gets a win in this great contest. Look for Ezell-Harding to beat Middle Tennessee Christian. And out west, I like St. Benedict over Bartlett. Just too much Jordan Wilkins, a UT commitment, a great running back there at St. Benedict. South Gibson should beat Jackson Christian. I like USJ over Trinity Christian. Zion Christian should beat Bishop Byrne. Look for ECS to top St. George's, two great teams out of Shelby County. Fayette Academy probably a loser to FACS. I think SBEC out of Mississippi beats Davidson Academy in Nashville. And finally, Floyd.
Yes, Murphy?
I like Harding Academy over Rossville Christian.
Woo! Big news in Mayberry, Murphy. Big news, yes. Andy was telling me that when Barney played quarterback for Mayberry Union High School, he threw so many interceptions that he was about as popular among his teammates.
Yes, Floyd.
Woo! As a porcupine at a petting zoo.
Now, Floyd, the old deputy, was telling Thelma Lou that me and the Mayberry High School football coach went to see a new sports movie last night about 7 fighting Irish football players who drive nonstop across the country in a Volkswagen Beetle.
What's the name of the movie, Barney?
The Hunchbacks of Notre Dame.
Good football movie, Barney. Good movie. Outstanding.
Nip it, nip it, nip it. Yes, indeedy. And that's going to do it for this week, fellas, for the Guru, Murphy Fair, and Steve Armistead. Thanks for being with us on Murphy's Matchups, brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. We'll see you next week on Murphy's Matchups. Bye-bye.
Going to be intercepted by the Cougars.
Snap, set, kick on the way.
Yes, sir.
The kick is up.
And it is good.
Drop throw.
But makes the catch. Spectacular grab.
Just streaking down the football field. Around the half, that's 25, 20.
Inside the 5.
That's a huge play.
He's going to go. Touchdown, Cougar.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cougar Football Week 1 edition against another set of Eagles, the Ezell-Harding Eagles, as the Cougars look to get off the 3-year losing streak against this team. Hi, I am Jeremy Smith alongside Jay Bruner, calling the action for you here tonight from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, the first of 4 home games for the Cougars. So, Jay, 0-1 on the season, obviously, off the loss from Nashville Christian a week ago. What do the Cougars need to do to come out with a win tonight to even their record?
Well, first, sticking with last week, Jeremy, some good things happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
The offensive line needs to get better. According to according to offensive line coach Owen Barker, that has happened. His quote, "We went back to fundamentals this week, the footwork, the pass protection, and we made some personnel moves. Sam Mathis, the freshman, going to be playing primarily on defense tonight. Taking the center position is sophomore Gavin Burgess. So a little shakeup in the offensive line there. So the receivers last week made their presence felt. Justin Wynn and Oakley Starling with 3 and 4 catches, respectively, each for about 45 yards. Brant Hoffbauer scored the only touchdown of the game with his legs. So always good to see a mobile Cougar quarterback. And the confidence of this team, once they started stringing a few passes together, the confidence rose with each possession. And the 99-yard record-setting scoring drive didn't hurt too much at all.
Yeah, for the one score of the game to have a 99-yard drive, that's pretty good. And after starting off a bit sluggish, Hoffbauer really came on strong the rest of the game. Finished, I believe it was 10 of 21, and really came on strong as the game progressed and looked good doing it. So the Cougars obviously coming out tonight trying to get a win against a team that's really had their number over the past few years. Want to just go ahead and let you know absolute keys to the game. If you live in Tennessee, you know the weather can be unpredictable. But in those times when your home or your property have been damaged by wind, water, fire, or storms, there's one team that you will know that will be there for you. Absolute Restoration. When you call them at 615-893-4343 or visit them online at absoluterestoration.com, Mike and Kyle will put over 50 years of restoration and construction experience to work and get your property and your life back to normal. In an unpredictable world, it's good to have a team you can count on, Absolute Restoration. So let's get to those keys to tonight's game. Jay.
Well, number one, build the wall. As we've already said, the offensive line struggled last week versus the Eagles. Against this flock of Eagles tonight, they need to get better. The offensive line lacked cohesion. Brent Hoffbauer and Zach Brandon suffered for it. In fact, Zach Brandon suffered so much with a shoulder injury that he is out tonight. And there will be a new starter in the Cougar backfield, most likely number 10, Nick Merritt. We'll get to the starting offensive lineup here in just a moment. Zach Brandon had 8 carries for a total of 1 yard.
Bit of a struggle for him a week ago.
The line has got to get better, and if the offense is going to get started tonight, it starts in the trenches up front. Key number 2, catch the ball. Again, something that's been mentioned by us already. The receivers got going late last week. They have a chance to put their skills on display tonight against this young Eagle secondary. You'll have Blake Smotherman, you'll have Cranston Gentry, you'll have Austin Binkley at linebacker. This Eagle secondary got lit up pretty much by Columbia Academy last week. And that could happen again tonight if Hoffbauer gets some time to hit his receivers and they can bring in the catch. Number 3, go Big Mo. Momentum built at the end of last week's game, Jeremy.
Yep.
Even though it was against the second string for Nashville Christian, we got into a rhythm and put that record-setting touchdown drive together. That momentum has got to carry over tonight, and they had a good week of practice, and it's time to put the what they learned into practice here tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned Owen Barker's quote earlier, just getting back to the fundamentals. I mean, don't try to change anything up, really. I mean, just get back and make a couple adjustments, moving Sam over to defense and Gavin to the starting center position may, in fact, be one of those key moves to help this team, especially help them on the offensive line. So definitely a good move, and hopefully it pays dividends for the Cougars here tonight, especially after having that week of practice. Jay, another week, another great Friday night of football weather. We're 2 for 2. 8 weeks to go, but definitely 2 for 2 so far on the young season.
Mother Nature has definitely been kind so far.
And the captains are ready to, for the Cougars, ready to go to midfield. Brent Hoffbauer and the injured Zach Brandon, 54 Kyle Howard, and then also Chris Collins. The Ezell-Harding football squad still yet to come to the field.
So, Jeremy, just a reminder about what happened in Nashville last year between these two teams. A 28-8 victory for Ezell. And QB Blake Smotherman last year reeled off TD runs of 73 and 56 yards in the second half. And the Eagles really never looked back after that. The Cougars had held the Eagles to 108 yards rushing in the first half. And then Smotherman broke it wide open. And Smotherman is number 21 here tonight. And we can see that he is one of the captains coming onto the field for Ezell. Smotherman, Gentry, Binkley, the three-headed monster at running back also. A bright spot from last year's game, the Cougar secondary held the Eagles to only 50 total yards passing.
Well, that's at least a bright spot. I mean, they ran the ball very well against this Cougar team, as both teams are now on the field, and we should be getting this game underway very shortly. MTCS obviously don't want to start the season 0-2, wanting to get their season rolling as they head into district play in week number 2 next week on the road.
And speaking of the three-headed monster of Binkley, Gentry, and Smotherman.
Yeah.
Yep. Guess who your Eagle captains are? There's 3 of them, and they are they. They are they? Well, moving on.
All right, captains approaching midfield now, and we will have the coin toss to determine possession.
From the coaching position, Jeremy, the Eagles and the Cougars in a bit of a same spot. Ezell is welcoming in first-year head coach Calvin Hall. He was formerly an assistant on the team, but he takes over this year. He is the Eagles' 3rd head coach in 4 years. Brian Stewart, the Cougars' 4th head coach, in the last 5 years.
So we've had a lot of turnover, is what you're saying.
A lot of turnover.
At these two schools.
You don't like the revolving door
No.
mentality of the head coaching position, but at a small private school, sometimes you can kind of expect it. Last week, Ezell, a loss of their own, 30-7 to Columbia Academy. Columbia Academy is on the road this week, taking on one of MTCS's district foes down in Huntland. And it'll be Huntland's 2012 season opener tonight. They had a bye week in week 0. So we've already mentioned the three-headed rushing attack with Smotherman, Binkley, and Gentry. And they put up the bulk of the offense here for this Eagle offense. Last week against Columbia Academy, Smotherman, in fact, caught an 82-yard touchdown pass.
For their lone score of that game. We'll get the details and the victor of the coin toss here momentarily and see if the Cougars can start on offense and build some of that momentum they had going last week. And it looks like Ezell will receive after winning the toss. So the Cougars obviously starting out on defense to see what kind of adjustments they made in the week of preparation.
And something kind of bugs me about that touchdown pass that Smotherman caught last week, Jeremy. Was it a trick play? Because Smotherman's going to line up as a quarterback tonight. Was it a trick play, or did they move Smotherman out of the quarterback position to take more advantage of his playmaking ability? He ended up last week with 168 total yards, 94 receiving and 74 rushing. And we know that he's got a motor. He wheeled off over 150 yards rushing in the second half last year against this Cougar team.
As the Cougars come onto the field.
So defensive starters for MTCS. At defensive end, we have Frank Roberts and Kyle Howard. At the defensive tackle spot, we have Chris Collins and Sam Mathis. Bryson Hamrick suspiciously absent from the lineup, except on offense at left guard. The linebacking core includes Nick Merritt and Griffin Harper. In the secondary, Austin Melton, Chaz Chaffin, Jordan Evans, and the freshman Trey Hickey, coming off a record-tying defensive performance last week with 2 interceptions. Freshman Tanner Green, running back, also will get some reps here tonight with the absence of Zach Brandon.
Yeah, it's kind of going to be, with the departure of Stephen Brent, I mean, this feels more like a team that's going to be kind of running back by committee in a way, just because you don't have that lead guy that's really going to just take the reins of this position as of right now, at least.
So an electric atmosphere as the students all file into their respective spots. The band is getting up into the stadium. A packed house here at the Throne tonight, Jeremy, as we're set to kick this one off.
Well, it's a new season, first home game, obviously, so let's get the season, the home season underway. Very short home season, 4 games.
Real quick, some other games that we're going to be keeping track of tonight. Huntland versus Columbia Academy. As we said, Community is on the road at Silverdale Academy. Forest travels to Collinwood. Cascade playing host to Joe Burns. Jeremy, a big former Region 5 matchup, and they like playing each other.
Yes, they do, and they're usually always very good games. Elijah Pinckney and Brian Allison back to receive this kick from Bonnaby. And it's a really short kick, and it's fumbled. Out of bounds. It's probably going to stay with Ezell-Harding, and it will. But a very interesting start here to the game. Very, very short kick, and really had a great chance of going over to MTCS.
Clay Mitchell with a tackle right out of the gate on the kickoff. So with the special teams and the kicking situation this year, Jeremy, you can expect kicking by committee as well.
Yes.
Bonnaby looks like he's just going to be the worm burner kicker, and looks like the Cougars this season are going to sacrifice field position for the sure tackle and making sure they don't give up the big play.
Smotherman, as we expected, starting at quarterback, throwing over to his right. Receiver's got a seam down the sideline, will pick up his first down. That's number 10. Well, actually, we don't have a number 10 on our roster.
Well, that's
what happens a lot in high school football.
Par for the course.
But if you want to look at the numbers really close to that, there's 11 Matthew Nip and 12 Jason Clark, possibly 9 Cedric Caldwell. Honestly, we apologize, but that was the roster we had gotten.
Well, we've seen 9 Cedric Caldwell during warm-up, so we know it's not him. But we do know that it's 1st and 10 in Cougar territory very quickly.
Smotherman, handoff up the middle. Big stuff by the Cougar defensive line. A whole host of orange stuffing the hole. That was Austin Binkley trying to make some headway, and he'll lose yardage.
And his counterpart in first name only, Austin Melton, the first Cougar there to stop him and stack him up and push him back. Good stop by Austin Melton, and that's a tackle for losses. Binkley's going to lose one.
Second down 11 now. In Cougar territory at the 48.
And how will this Cougar secondary respond to Smotherman's arm?
Oh, and it's a high snap. Smotherman running just to chase it down. He's going to lose big-time yardage all the way back to his own 29-yard line.
Coming in to touch him down is Peyton Buckner, and he's going to get credit for the huge tackle for loss.
That's a 23-yard loss. So the Cougars obviously now in great position on third down and very, very long. Call it 34. The Sticks are at their own 30. They have to get to the MTCS 37 for a first down. Probably just a straight handoff. No, he will pass. Smotherman dropping back. Pressure is coming. He is rolling to his left. He is elusive. Running up the field. Still got a long way before he gets his first down. He will be tackled. That is Chris Collins.
A good job on the chase and tackle. Austin Melton just an arm tackle tried to bring down Smotherman and couldn't quite do it. Could have been not so big of a gain, but either way, it is fourth down and a country mile.
Punt team on the field. Justin Wynn back to receive this punt from Ezell-Harding. Punter for Ezell. That is number 8, Zachary McLean. Wynn will take it at his own 25, making some moves up to the 30, making another spin move up to his 35. That was a nifty little return, a gain of about 10 yards. Good field position for MTCS to start.
So here comes senior quarterback Brent Hoffbauer, getting his second start at quarterback for the Cougars.
MTCS starting, like I said, on their own 35.
A good atmosphere here tonight, Jeremy.
Yes, it is. And the 4 receiver sets to start the game. Hoffbauer out of the gun. Dropping to pass. Over to Wynn. Good catch over there by Wynn around his own 38, making a couple of moves just like he did on that kick return. And he'll be tackled back at about the 38, possibly back to the 37. We'll see where the referee spotted. They will spot it at the 38. So give him a gain of about gain of about 4 yards. And it'll bring up 2nd and 6. Looked like the running back in the backfield was Tanner Green, Jason.
Well, there we go. Another freshman that getting a start.
This is a very young Cougar team. I mean, look up and down the roster. It is filled with freshmen and sophomores. Hoffbauer to throw again. Throwing downfield. Wynn is open again, and he makes a move down to the 50. Going downfield. He has a chance here, folks. To the 20. He fumbles, but it's out of bounds, and it will remain as a Cougar football.
Wow.
Woo.
Well, a bit of luck there never hurts.
He's got a little connection going with Wynn right now. Very good.
Wynn, Oakley Starling is the elder statesman being a junior, but Wynn has got the best hands on the team.
Great pass there all the way down to the 15-yard line, 16-yard line.
How about a 45-yard passing catch?
This formation is working. Handoff to Green, and he gets stacked up right when he gets to the line. Leading the way, that was Austin Binkley.
And with this Eagles defense, you know, when you call out Binkley, Smotherman, Gentry, you can say no surprise.
Exactly.
Leaders on offense, leaders on defense. A senior squad for Ezell this year of 10 players as opposed to 5 for MTCS. So no gain for Tanner Green. And 2nd down.
Staying with the 4 receiver set. Hoffbauer back to pass. He has pressure coming from behind. Starling catches it across the 10, inside the 10-yard line at around the 8. So another good gain. It will bring up 3rd down, but 3rd down and very short. Call it 2.
Hoffbauer starting this game 3 for 3 through the air.
So definitely starting off better than a week ago. They're building on that momentum thus far.
3 for 3, 57 yards for Brent Hoffbauer. And 2 catches for 49 yards for Justin Wynn. Clay Mitchell now out at receiver.
Hoffbauer just going to keep it himself. Not going to gain a lot. As a matter of fact, he will lose a yard. Kind of a suspicious play call on 3rd and a yard. I mean, it may have worked, but Ezell-Harding was ready for it. Will they kick the field goal here, though, Jason?
I don't think you're going to see many field goal tries from this Cougar team this year, Jeremy.
This isn't the MTCS team with Trevor Brunsvold where you could be automatic 3 down here.
That is the truth. But Evans, Wynn, Starling, and Buckner are your receivers. Yet to see Jordan Evans on the field.
Hoffbauer to throw here on 4th down. Into the end zone. Oh, and it was overthrown. Intended to look like for Wynn, but was behind Starling, who had the second chance for it. They will turn it over on downs on such a promising drive.
Just disappointing. That's great momentum building in your first drive. Hoffbauer starting 3 for 3. And oh, man, so disappointing.
They were so close. And as Smotherman now will go under center from his own 9. Handoff, I believe that is Binkley. We'll get the number in just a moment for you as he's stacked up after a gain of about 1. That is Austin Binkley.
Having a conference there. Nick Merritt, the first Cougar there. Want to remind you this first quarter is brought to you by Murphy Fair, the guru of Tennessee high school football. From Clarksville to Chattanooga, from Memphis to the Tri-Cities, and everywhere in between, Murphy covers it all. He knows every team, every coach, every stat, and more, and he makes it all available to you at murphyfair.com. So log on and get to know the guru. Murphy's matchups in its 2nd season here on Cougar Football on TSSAA Network.
Smotherman handoff right up the middle, and there's a huge hole. Wynn misses a tackle all the way across the 30-yard line. That is a first down. Carry by number 20, Cranston Gentry.
Yeah, there's Gentry.
Like you said, it's going to be Gentry, Smotherman, and Binkley all night.
20, 21, and 32 are the numbers you'll have to watch out for here tonight. And when they stick in number 9, Cedric Crawford, we know he's got an arm on him as he tossed a pass to Smotherman last week.
It's now first down at their own 31. Oh, and it's another bad snap. That's the 2nd of the game, and he will have to fall on it back at his own 20. A loss of 11. It will be 2nd and 21. That's the 2nd bad snap in 2 drives, Jason.
And Kyle Howard, the first man to get there, you're ruled down automatically.
Right.
But Kyle Howard, the nearest Cougar, so we're going to give him the tackle for loss there. The center quarterback exchange, always a big focal point in your week of practice.
It's all the more important whenever you're out of the shotgun because
number 70, Stephen Knipp, the center for Ezell.
Under center this time, though, and he will throw. Smotherman really doesn't have anywhere to go, but he finds a lane running and is able to get up to the 35 across the original line of scrimmage.
Chaz Chaffin cuts him down.
Gain of about 14, 15 yards, and it will bring up 3rd down and about 7.
That's going to be about 3rd down.
Or 3rd down about 6, excuse me.
Yeah, he made it a 3rd down and manageable. Smotherman can dip and dive. He's very elusive.
All right, Smotherman with a 3-receiver set here on 3rd down. Handoff right up the middle. That is Gentry. No, excuse me, that is Binkley, but he is stacked up. Very short gain there.
Nick Merritt once again in on that tackle.
Defense now 2 for 2 on really stopping this team when they really were needing to convert a 3rd down try, and it looks like they will be forced to punt this ball away.
And it looks like they're about in the same area of the field they were at the end of their last possession. Jeremy, do you think this early in the game that either of these teams would choose to go for it here? Well, I think I just had my question answered.
I think they very well might. They're in the offensive formation. He's not even in the shotgun. He is under center, straight eye formation, 1 receiver either side.
Watch the quarterback draw here.
Smotherman definitely has the speed, but there is a timeout. Ezell-Harding.
Well, it's in an area of the field early in the game where you want to talk about it. So Calvin Hall is going to do that with his Eagle squad. So, Jeremy, up to this point, 8 different Cougars have made a play on defense.
And we're only about, almost 9 minutes into this first quarter. No score, but MTCS definitely looking like the better team so far on defense and on that offensive drive for sure, outside of just not cashing in down there inside the 10.
Yeah, red zone possessions are going to be pivotal in a game like this where you have 2 pretty even teams. If you can get in scoring position, you have to come away with the points.
Team's about ready to come back on the field for this 4th down and 4, and I believe that you're probably going to see a punt now in this situation.
You would hope so.
Well, yeah, of course.
So Jordan Evans here on the near sideline trying to pump up the crowd.
And they will punt away.
In the first quarter, Jeremy, Columbia Academy already up by 2 touchdowns on Huntland. It's 14-0.
That did not take long.
Not at all.
Ooh, high snap. Kick it away for Justin Wynn. He catches it at his own 38. Breaks 1 tackle. Justin Wynn across the 45. Justin Wynn fighting for more yardage up to the 48, and Wynn looks like he's really going to be able to make the most of his punt returns. And already on 2 returns tonight, he's gotten more yardage than it really looked like he was going to be able to get when it started.
That's absolutely true.
So again, great field position for drive number 2 for this MTCS offense. Brent Hoffbauer, who has really been heating up since halftime of week 0, really connecting with his receivers, Oakley Starling, Justin Wynn, among others.
Green going again at running back.
Handoff, that is Green. No, it is kept by Hoffbauer. Huge loss there by Hoffbauer all the way back to his own 43, loss of about 5.
Well, that fooled me, but not the Eagles defense.
Fooled both of us. It really looked like Tanner Green had the ball. Too bad he didn't, too, because he would have had a pretty good lane.
It was a good. I was wondering why nobody was trying to make a good effort to tackle him because he didn't have the ball.
Exactly.
So back to the 43-yard line.
Hoffbauer back to throw. Got time. That's over to Peyton Buckner. Buckner trying to find some running room. Gain of about 3 yards. It'll bring up 3rd and about 11. So just a short pass. It'll bring up a 3rd and long, but still a manageable situation.
And this Cougar offense is built to pick up yards in bunches.
Yeah, we saw an example of that with Wynn on the first drive.
Absolutely. 2 catches, 49 yards.
Starling, Wynn, and Evans, the 3 receivers to the near side. Hoffbauer under all kinds of pressure, setting up the screen, and Tanner Green can't make the catch. It was a little high because Hoffbauer was under intense pressure, but you get your hands on it, got to do your best to try to make the catch, but it will be 4th down. So another blown chance off of the great field position. So MTCS 0 for 2 on scoring chances here in the first quarter.
Well, if this is going to be a defensive battle, that will sit just fine with head coach Brian Stewart.
Exactly. But the offense is staying on the field, but will it be one of those quick kicks? He's standing pretty far back from the line, and it's a 5-receiver set with Green over there to the far side. We shall see, and that is what it is. Pretty good kick. And it's going to take a Cougar roll. Back inside the 20. Well, it's going to pretty much die right at the 20.
A good effort there by Hoffbauer.
So not a bad punt at all.
33-yard punt by Hoffbauer.
This game just has a different feel already than a week ago.
Right.
It really does.
They're giving the crowd, they're giving the fans, they're giving the coaches hope that the week's worth of practice, the off season, has in fact worked. They've taken their lessons to heart, and last week was just a blip on the radar, an aberration, something just to forget.
All right, here's Smotherman under center from his own 20. Play fake, rolling around to his left. He's keeping it himself. He's trying to find some running room, and he's got a lot of it across the 30, across the 35, and out of bounds for a first down.
Chaz Chaffin has to chase and tackle on that one. If one of your safeties has got to make a tackle on your quarterback draw, something that needs to be looked at by Brian Stewart, who's both the offensive and defensive coordinators as well as the head coach.
And don't forget, he's the head baseball coach. He's got a lot of stuff going on.
A lot on his plate.
He's got a lot going on.
Early on, Cannon County trailing Grace Baptist 7-0. Community trailing Silverdale 6-0 in the first quarter.
Hand off of the middle. That is Austin Binkley finding some running room and getting some across the 40 to around the 41. Gain of about 7 yards.
It'll be Chris Collins on the tackle. It's his second of the quarter so far.
Haven't had a lot of luck passing like a year ago, but they are running the ball well so far, and that's a cause for concern for MTCS. They've really got to find a way to stop these running lanes.
55, Bryson the Hammer Hamrick checks into the game now. At defensive tackle, Chris Collins is coming out.
On second down 3.
Big pass rushing, run stuffing tackle.
Pass over to the right, and it is overthrown. No, it is going to be a fumble. They're calling that a backwards pass, and number 10, who's not on our roster, had to jump on it as Justin Wynn was barreling down on him. That was very close.
So Justin Wynn credited with another tackle there. Wish it could have been in the fumble recovery column, but the Cougars will take another loss back inside the 40.
Third down 6 now, as this first quarter has flown by.
Well, pretty much on the ground. And when the Cougars are making catches, they're being tackled inbounds. So the clock keeps rolling.
Absolutely.
So another third down opportunity for the Cougar defense.
Straight eye formation. Play fake. Smotherman's keeping it himself. He's looking for some room. Over to the left.
And the ball's fumbled.
And he fumbled.
He fumbled it right into the hands of Austin Melton.
And the Cougars have recovered, and they are in Ezell-Harding territory late in the first quarter. So +1 in the turnover category here early in this game. And that's a great job because Smotherman has been doing well on the ground so far, and to rip the ball away from him, that may make him second-guess himself later in the game. I mean, you never know.
Just that quick snap and that rollout with all those blockers. MTCS did a great job of play recognition, stringing the play out, giving Smotherman no hole to cut through. When he finally did cut, he had it ripped out of his hand.
Exactly. Hoffbauer back to throw. He's got some time. Over to Tanner Green. Tanner Green's got a man coming down on him. He's trying to fight for as much yardage as he can. A very tough run as he crosses the 40 to around the 38. And that will be the end of the first quarter. Your score, 0-0 between the Cougars and the Eagles. We will step away. You are watching Cougar football on the TSSAA network. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Second quarter going to be getting started here in a moment. Having a little clock malfunction here as the second quarter begins. We'll get that worked out here shortly, and we'll get you back to the game.
Well, as we get started here in the second quarter, this frame of the game is brought to you by Middle Tennessee Christian School. From pre-K through high school, MTCS ensures your child a quality education in a Christian environment. Go to mtcscougars.org to find out more.
Hoffbauer over to throw. Caught over there to the right. Trying to find some running room by Tanner Green across the 40, around the 39, maybe the 38-yard line. Not much of a gain, if any, on that play. Yeah, they're going to say no gain on the play. Third down, 10 yards to go here from about the 38.5-yard line.
Well, he lost a yard on that first run on first down. But we have another third down coming up. Cougars are 0 of 1 thus far.
A stat they needed to improve upon from last week. Hoffbauer over to Wynn. That is a first down as he streaks up the field, up to the 20-yard line. Gain of 17 yards. They'll call it the 21. First down MTCS. The connection between Hoffbauer and Wynn, not only last week, not only tonight, it looks like it's going to be a deadly connection as the season progresses. They definitely seem to have some good chemistry.
Absolutely. And Hoffbauer, your atypical quarterback, a little bit on the short side.
Right.
But, skill can trump all of that.
Exactly. And he looks like he can definitely throw. Obviously, we didn't get to see much of him at all. He came in junk time at the very end of the game the last several years. Eagles showing blitz here. Hoffbauer handoff up the middle. Tanner Green going to the end zone. Touchdown MTCS Cougars.
21 yards.
Yes, sir. MTCS takes the lead and are up 6-0. What a blocking job. What a job by that offensive line. One of the things they needed to improve upon, and they really did so far the whole game, but especially there for that run as Bonnaby comes out to kick the PAT.
Jeremy, something that is excellent, has improved 100 times from last week. The center quarterback exchange. Gavin Burgess is getting that ball right where Hoffbauer needs it.
As the extra point is up and good. It's 7-0 MTCS a minute into the second quarter. And yes, the coaching staff made that change at the center position by putting Gavin Burgess up there. And so far, it's paying dividends, and it's working out. Get to all the guys at the best position possible that they can play in.
And we don't want to dog on Sam Mathis. He is a freshman, but those snaps for Hoffbauer last week at Nashville Christian were a little high. But Gavin Burgess putting them right on the money. Hoffbauer not having to adjust much and waste those valuable seconds.
And that helps a ton. And the chemistry, Hoffbauer so far, he's only had one or two incomplete passes thus far in the game.
He is 6 for 8 thus far.
Very impressive for Hoffbauer thus far.
6 for 8, 77 yards for Brent Hoffbauer. Oakland up early on Hunter's Lane, 14-0. Same score still for Columbia Academy over Huntland. Wilson Central is beating Rutherford County 7 AAA squads 6-0 thus far in the first quarter. No score between Moore County and Cornersville. No score between Cascade and Joe Burns.
Think about that scoring drive. Justin Wynn making a lot of catches so far in the game, a sophomore. Tanner Green running for the touchdown, a freshman. I mean, these guys are so young, and they're already making plays, and just this experience that they're already gaining at such a young age is just going to be so huge as they get older and mature in their football career.
3 catches, 66 yards for Wynn thus far.
It's not bad. Bonnaby kicking off. Caught over there by Smotherman at around his own 18. Smotherman, a huge hole. Smotherman could go all the way, and he will. Barring any penalties, Smotherman has just tied this game with the PAT upcoming. My goodness.
And that's what Smotherman can do for you.
He is so blazing fast.
So the ultimate high followed by the ultimate low for MTCS. Giving up a big kickoff return after taking your first lead of the year.
but you can't let it get to you too much. Go right back out there. Your offense is absolutely rolling right now.
Absolutely.
Get back out there and just continue what you're doing with the passing attack and even the running attack with Tanner Green. The PAT upcoming here. Zachary McLean, the kick. So 2 touchdowns at 10 seconds apart. After no score for 12 minutes. Very low snap, and that PAT is nowhere close. The holder could never get the ball down. Flags on the field. We'll see what the call is. We see if it's on Ezell, the Cougars will probably decline this, and the Cougars are coming off the field, and they will. So it's 7-6. The Cougars retain the lead after the missed PAT.
So after the long kickoff return by Smotherman, the best situation you could ask for, you still have the lead off of the missed PAT. 10:49 to go in the first half. And Jeremy, feeling the Cougars haven't had this early in the season for quite some time.
Feeling good about themselves, how they're playing. I mean, that was a special teams touchdown they given up. Defense has looked great so far. Offense has looked tremendous since halftime of week 0. So definitely some good things going on so far. And just want to let you know something cool we're adding in here at halftime for all the home games. MTCS top moments.
Yeah, top 5 moments in Cougar history. We asked you to vote, and we have moment number 5 coming up at halftime. We'll play the highlights of our game call of moment number 5 at halftime, and we'll reveal exactly what that is.
We'll have 5 tonight, 4 at the next home game, 3 at the following, and then numbers 1 and 2 at the final home game of the year, since there's only the 4 home games on senior night. A fun little thing that we're adding in for 2012. Kickoff is away. Caught back at his own 10-yard line. That's Griffin Harper. Griffin Harper has a pretty good lane across the 30 as he gets down to around the 33. So again, the Cougars constantly starting with excellent field position each and every drive. And if you do that, you give yourselves a good chance if you don't get yourself backed up in your own goal line. Austin Melton, the receiver near side. Hand off to Tanner Green. Tanner Green looking for some room. Gain of about 2 yards. He'll get down to around the 35-yard line. Looks like Gentry was the one, Binkley looked like to be the one to take him down there.
Well, they're pretty much interchangeable. Senior linebackers. So Green looks like a Stephen Brent-style runner. As soon as he gets that handoff, 2 hands on the ball to secure it and make sure you don't fumble it.
And running north and south.
Thus far, it's worked for him.
Yeah.
4 carries, 22 yards, and a touchdown for Tanner Green.
Hoffbauer back to throw, rolling over to his left, and he's got some room to run here. Hoffbauer across the 35 down to around the 36. Only a gain of about 1 yard, though, despite the fact that he ran about 20. So 3rd down now, about 7 yards to go.
So with that pass to Justin Wynn on the previous drive, Jeremy, the Cougars automatically improved to 50% on 3rd down conversions. They're 1 of 2 so far, and this will be attempt number 3.
Again, a 4-receiver set, which is something you'll typically see out of this team. Pressure coming. He's got Oakley Starling across the 50, but Oakley fumbled it. But was he down? They're going to say he was down, and that is a 1st down.
There's a big break there for MTCS. The ground knocked it loose, and the referee saw it.
Ground can't cause a fumble in football, so they will call that a pass and a gain for Oakley Starling, and a 1st down MTCS into Eagle territory. So excellent conversion there.
16-yard gain for Oakley.
And again, one of his top 2 receivers, handoff to Green. Across the 45, down to around the 42-yard line. So a gain of about 4 yards on first down.
Well, we're starting to see some cracks in the offensive line, Jeremy. You had 2 linebackers and 2 defensive linemen standing there waiting for Tanner Green with nobody blocking them. So the Cougar offensive linemen have got to get their heads back in this game, find a helmet, and put your helmet on it.
Exactly. Just because you have a lead early in the game doesn't mean to quit. You have to keep going till the final whistle. Chaffin out there at receiver now. Off-power back to throw. Going deep. That's Justin Wynn, just out of the outstretched arms of Wynn.
Oh, he was wide open, Jeremy, and Hoffbauer lofted it up there. Wynn kind of broke his route off. Had to try to speed up coming out of his break. And you need to maintain your power and your speed into your break, through your break, and out of your break. Just a simple corner route, a flag route. It was a catchable ball. But nevertheless, it's third down. And obviously on the Eagle side of the field, fourth down territory if they don't convert here.
Hoffbauer back to throw. Under some pressure. Going deep. He's got Oakley Starling wide open, but it was thrown straight up, so the defender had a chance to come back, and it is incomplete. And it is fourth down and 7.
Well, Hoffbauer, a little indecision there around the line of scrimmage. Am I going to run? Am I going to throw? Starling was open, but the window closed quickly. Now MTCS still at 50%, third down conversions, 2 of 4.
Fourth down, 7 here. They will go for it. See what they draw up here on fourth down. And I believe the Cougars false started on this play.
Well, Cougars only penalized 4 times last week for 20 yards.
Something you can't have when you're trying to go for it on fourth down. Will that push them to punt the ball now?
It might. Back near the midfield stripe at the 49 of Ezell. This may be a place where MTCS takes the time out to talk about it.
Looks like they're going to stay in about the same. Well, it's a 5-receiver set. He is back pretty far. That looks very close to where he was last time for that quick kick. And it is not good this time. And it's going to be out of bounds at around the 33. So not nearly as good, not as effective. And it will be Ezell-Harding ball.
It's only a 16-yard punt that time. But it's pretty average field position for these two teams thus far tonight, around the 30-yard line, 35-yard line.
It's been pretty typical.
So Laverne has come back to tie it with Wilson Central in the second quarter at 6-all. Brentwood leading Smyrna 7-0 in the first quarter. Blackman has taken the lead over Pearl Cone 7-0 in the first. And Huntland has scored on Columbia Academy and cut the deficit to 14-7.
High snap again to Smotherman. Smotherman looking for some room, though. And he is dropped back for a loss, and it's a fumble. The ball came loose. But it looks like they will say Ezell held on. But my goodness, how many times is that now? At least 3, maybe 4, that we've seen an issue with the center quarterback exchange.
And Peyton Buckner made the tackle and forced the fumble. Peyton Buckner putting his name on the defensive stat sheet several times already. 3 tackles, 2 for loss, and that forced fumble.
So second down, 17. They've lost a lot of yardage so far tonight on bad snaps. Handoff right up the middle. That is Binkley. Binkley just running over people over to the right side, but gets taken down at around the 33.
Nick Merritt, the Cougar, to bring him down, and he grabbed on and held on and finally brought Binkley down.
As they're back to around the original line of scrimmage, a yard shy.
Kyle Howard coming out of the game here. Senior lineman, getting a breather. We have Roberts, Mathis, Collins, and a fourth Cougar on the defensive line. Sorry, I can't tell who he is.
Smotherman to throw, rolling to his left. He is running out of time. He is sacked. Sacked there. That's number 68 of the Cougars.
Sam Mathis. Frank Roberts there as well. A half sack apiece for Roberts and Mathis.
So again, the defense coming up big. This defense is doing a great job. The only score for Ezell-Harding thus far, a Blake Smotherman kickoff return for a touchdown. But with the missed extra point, the Cougars still lead this game by a point.
Definitely a punting situation here if you are Ezell.
Absolutely.
Coming down to 6 minutes to go in the first half, and Cougars with plenty of time to mount a quick drive.
Oh, and it's a bad snap. Oh, and it's nearly blocked. And that ball will just fall dead, and the Cougars will be set up at the Ezell 48-yard line. This is touchdown or bust on this drive. I mean, you have got 48 yards away from the end zone.
Perfect opportunity to extend the lead. Thanks to the missed extra point, the Cougars lead at 7-6. No score between Cascade and Joe Byrne. Oakland extends the lead 21-0 over Hunters Lane. Grace Baptist extends their lead over Camden County. It's 14-0. I like ballfrog.com, Jeremy.
Yes, and we keep the Cougars up to date on there. As you'll see on there, they are leading 7-6 in the second quarter, and Hoffbauer's just going to keep it himself. Go up the field, gain of about 1 yard up to the 47. Nice mix-up. They haven't done that a lot here tonight, but just fortunately just didn't gain a whole lot on that play.
Well, Jeremy, a surprising stat to many people last week, the Cougars were actually +3 or +1 in the turnover margin.
After starting out, they started out in the game, the first play of the game, Brent Hoffbauer fumbling the ball.
Trey Hickey tying a Cougar record with 2 interceptions in that game.
Hoffbauer back to throw, and blitz is coming. He gets out of it, though, but he can't escape the second wave as he is sacked back in his own territory, back at his own 48.
Just a jailbreak blitz by Ezell.
He escaped that first wave, but wasn't able to really find anything down the field, and that second wave collapsed on him. So third down and very long here, back at their own 48.
So loss of 5 there for Brent Hoffbauer. But we've already seen MTCS convert 1 long third down. And this time, MTCS will take a timeout with 5:03 and talk about it. This year, when MTCS takes a timeout, it is a BVI Group printing timeout. When you need to upgrade your business with professional documents, take a timeout and call BVI Group Printing. Family owned and operated for over 5 years, Brian Melton and the team at BVI Printing will guide you through the setup and creation process and ensure you have top-notch products. Their list of services include direct mail, labels, and commercial printing such as brochures, catalogs, and forms. Call Brian at 615-308-6892 and lead your team over the competition with professional documents from BVI Group Printing. So a lot to talk about here for the Cougars, Jeremy, as they are in a hole, about 3rd and 14. Have to get the ball inside the 38 of Ezell to convert here.
They have the passing attack to do it, though, with the likes of Wynn and Starling, who can get down the field and get those 2 receivers especially are able to make space and catch the ball in space and have a great ability of running after the catch and gaining yards. Here we go on third down, 14. Hoffbauer back to pass. He's going deep, intended for Wynn. And it is incomplete. It was up for grabs between Wynn and Brian Allison. So unfortunately, the Cougars being set up in great position will have to punt away here on 4th down. I mean, Hoffbauer is staying on the field, but you got to expect it to be the 5-receiver set and then the quick kick.
Well, Hoffbauer has had some success picking his targets and been able to throw the ball on a line right to the man that he wants. The last few passes by Hoffbauer have just been those Hail Mary, here we go passes, and none of them have been completed.
Almost blocked, but it is down the field, and it's going to take a great Cougar roll all the way inside the 10, inside the 5, at the 4. What a job. It was almost blocked. There is a flag, though, at the 25.
That's way down the field.
We'll see what that flag is, but if everything stands the way it is.
It's a 44-yard punt as it stands right now before the penalty is assessed.
It is on Ezell.
Call is block in the back against Ezell-Harding. Half the distance to the goal.
So call that half the distance. 1st and 10 now from the 2.
44-yard punt for Brent Hoffbauer. Not a bad night so far.
And I think it's that point in the game where, Jay, we say our prototypical phase of we'll
take it. 5 years and counting. We got to keep that going.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So what's your play call here?
Who knows with this team? Smotherman could roll out to the right and run. It looks like it's just going to be a sneak, though. Smotherman gains a lot for it to be a QB sneak all the way up to around the 7.
Smotherman on the keeper. Stop at number 10, Nick Merritt.
5-yard QB sneak is pretty good.
Sam Mathis in on the tackle. Just kind of got bowled over, but was able to bring Smotherman down. So he pushes the ball all the way out near the 5, across the 5 to the 6.
Looks like Smotherman was out at quarterback there, and it looked to be number 11, Matthew Gnip.
Well,
wait till players get up here, and it was number 11, Matthew Gnip.
Another QB draw, gets 3 yards. Couldn't see who made the tackle.
Sam Mathis in on the stop, number 68, along with the front line of the Cougars.
PA announcer Joe, Mr. Peck will say it's Sam Mathis, so we will too.
And Matthew Gnip is remaining in the game at quarterback. I'm not sure if anything happened to Smotherman, but at least for right now on 3rd down, Gnip is in. Handoff up the middle. That is Gentry. And he will get the 1st down. Didn't see any type of injury that that we noticed, at least, that would have caused Smotherman to be forced to leave the game. But
I don't see him on the trainer's table at all.
But nevertheless, Gnip is in at quarterback, and it's 1st down. Handoff up the middle. That is Gentry. Up to the 20, gain of about 5.
Always falling forward.
Number 68, Sam Mathis, and number 58, Chris Collins on the stop.
Chris Collins in there on the tackle. So a quick 5 yards for Gentry just by lowering his head.
And just going north and south.
There is an Eagle on the sideline sitting down being looked at.
And the fact that we can't see 21 anywhere, I wonder if that may be him. Handoff up the middle. That is Binkley. Binkley finding some room up to around the 27, 28-yard line. That is another Ezell-Harding 1st down.
Griffin Harper, number 20, with the tackle. And Ezell controlling the tempo here late in the 1st half. 2:26 to go.
The MTCS controlled the momentum and the way the game flowed for about the first quarter and a half, especially after taking that 7-0 lead. But since that kickoff return for a touchdown, Ezell's definitely kind of evened it back out on the momentum side.
Smotherman working out his leg.
Handoff up the middle. That is Gentry again. This time the Cougars don't let him get much. A gain of about 2 or 3.
There's Melton again making another tackle.
Stop on the play by number 9, Austin Melton.
Smotherman really working his left leg. Maybe got a stinger or a cramp or possibly slight pull, but he is working it out on the sideline. He looks like he may be able to return in this game, which is good to see.
Well, he left so quick I didn't even see him leave. Hand off again. That is Austin Binkley. And the Cougars wrap him up as he gets across the 35 to the 36. One of the Cougars in on that as they get up from the pile. That's Sam Mathis, I see.
Griffin Harper with the shoestring grab. Pulling him down. Third down, very short here.
Minutes to go in the half.
And it looks like they're going to keep Smotherman out and evaluate him in the locker room at halftime to see if he can return to the game. Under a minute to go. Do you try a little trickery here?
They very well may. This is the team to do it. They won't, though. They'll just go straight up the middle. That is a first down across the 40 to the 41. That is Gentry.
Sam Mathis in on pretty much every tackle so far.
He's been getting them off the pile almost every single defensive play here lately.
That's his fourth tackle already. It ties him with Nick Merritt for the lead in tackles tonight so far. 47 seconds and counting here in the first half at the Throne.
Ezell doesn't seem to be in much of a hurry here. 42 seconds and counting. I say that. There's a stoppage here.
Braden Melton now out on the field at linebacker.
All right, here we go. Now the clock is running. And Gnip is going to pass now, and he is sacked. That was Hamrick.
Gnip just got hammered. The hammer, Bryson Hamrick, with his first sack of the season.
And I believe that will be about all that ends Ezell. Well, they do take a timeout here, 28 seconds left. But Hamrick really just exploded through the line, and he really showed on that play why he's a 6A transfer.
You can't block him. When he's in, you can't block him. It's a rollout to get away from him, or it's a quick pass, or it's a run to the opposite side of where he is.
Only issue we've seen out of him is his stamina, but when he's out there, though, he can really explode through the line.
Siegel, a very high pick in the coaches poll for 2012, showing why. 28-0 over Lincoln County in the first quarter. Blackman, a 14-7 lead over Pearl Cone in the second quarter. Smyrna falling behind to Brentwood now, 14-0, the Bulldogs trailing in the second quarter. Well, we had seen a score where Laverne had pulled even with Wilson Central at 6, but that has been changed now, and Wilson Central still has the 6-0 lead. Nobody reporting the Eagleville at McEwen game, former Region 5 opponents. Joe Burns with the early lead on Cascade, 6-0 in the first half.
Smotherman is back in.
And now you have to expect maybe a long throw or a quarterback rollout like has been done before.
Back to throw here. The pressure is coming. That's Mathis throwing deep. And it is, nearly intercepted by Jordan Evans right through his hands.
When you have to play defense, when you're a receiver waiting for a pass, never a good thing.
Jordan Evans brings up third down.
So Jordan Evans defending that pass.
You know, I think the move Owen Barker told us about moving Sam Mathis primarily to defense, it looks to be the right move because it's working out at center, and he seems to really be making some good plays on defense already. He seems to be in on almost every single play we've seen. Even if he's not making the tackle, he's making his presence known and helping out. Third down and 14. Smotherman's got a long time, but here comes the pressure. That was Hamrick. Throws it deep, and it is incomplete. Jordan Evans in on that coverage. Hamrick putting the pressure on late.
You can't block him. Now, he was pretty much bottled up last week by a very good Nashville Christian team. And the talk in the stands after that game, Jeremy, was the Cougars are probably not going to play as talented a team as that the rest of this year. And when we get into district play, Graduation has hit all 7 teams in District 9A pretty much the same. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of youth in the district this year.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how it plays out. MTCS was picked to finish last, but, I mean, that's preseason. I mean,
before anything happens, you always have to make your predictions.
Right. Oh, you're right. Low snap. Does get the punt away, though. Justin Wynn back at his own 30 to receive. Making some moves. Wynn going around the outside. And he will gain about maybe 1 yard. 5 seconds to go here until halftime. You expect just a run here to end the half?
A run or simple kneel down. You got the lead going into halftime.
Don't do anything to jeopardize
Something the Cougars have not had all of 2011 and yet in 2012. Their one win last year over Mount Juliet Christian, they were trailing at the half.
That's true.
Came
and
out
really
with a monster second half.
Exploded. That was the record-setting game where Stephen Brent broke and really shattered R.J. Miller's single-game rushing record.
Yeah, 283 yards.
Where the previous record was 246 here at home against Moore County.
6 touchdowns, and that was a record.
Unbelievable. That was one of the greatest performances. When it's a 5-receiver set here, we say maybe a run. Okay, it is a run. They really showed like they might do something more. Gain of about 3 or 4 yards. That will be the end of the first half. The score, the Cougars 7, the Eagles 6. Come back, we will have a halftime show with your stats, and we will give you the number 5 moment in MTCS football history. You're watching Cougar football on the TSSAA network. Welcome back for our halftime show here. Sorry about that. Jay, we're going to go over some halftime stats here. I believe you compiled. Take it away here, starting with Brent Hoffbauer's halftime stats.
Thank you very much. Brent Hoffbauer having the game of his life so far in the first half. He is 7 of 12 passing for 93 yards. He has 6 carries for -5 yards, but he did have a 4-yard rush and a couple of 1-yard rushes in there. Pretty much par for the course for a Cougar quarterback.
Yeah.
Multiple carries, negative yardage. You know, if he can throw in a couple of touchdowns in there, a la Scott Bartleson, you know, pretty typical Cougar quarterback. Tanner Green has the lone MTCS score tonight. He has 5 carries for a total of 25 yards in that score. Justin Wynn, the leading receiver, 3 grabs for 66 yards. Oakley Starling, the 1 catch for 16 yards. Peyton Buckner, a catch for 3 yards. Tanner Green caught 1 ball but didn't go anywhere. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. Oakley Starling, 2 catches for 24 yards. My bad.
Well, it's all right. You corrected it.
Need to change that on my stat sheet here. Cougars are 2 of 5 on 3rd down, so even that is much better than their totals for last week.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Philip Bonnaby, 1 of 1 on extra points. Hoffbauer, 3 punts for a total of 93 yards, so about 31-yard average. That is not too shabby for your quarterback.
And the one that went all the way down to the 4-yard line, most impressive.
On defense, Chaz Chaffin with 2 tackles. Peyton Buckner, a good defensive showing. 3 tackles, 2 of those for loss, and that forced fumble that was unfortunately recovered by Ezell. Austin Melton with 2 tackles, 1 for loss, and 2 passes defended. Nick Merritt leading the team along with Sam Mathis with 4 tackles apiece. Sam Mathis also has a sack, or a half a sack, that he shared with Franklin Roberts. So getting started well on defense thus far.
Absolutely.
Bryson Hamrick also had the big sack. Chris Collins with 3 tackles. Kyle Howard with 2 tackles with 1 for loss. Just all across the board here, Jeremy, a good defensive effort, and it helps your effort as you have a 7-6 lead going into halftime. Something we have been asked to mention, this season, the 2012 MTCS Booster Club is having a field goal contest. Now here's how it works, Jeremy. During the first quarter of the last home game on senior night, 4 semifinalists will be chosen, and you can register at every game throughout the year. 4 semifinalists will be chosen. At halftime, each semifinalist will be given a key to a brand new 2012 Nissan Titan pickup truck. The one person whose key opens the Nissan Titan, unlocks the truck, will get a chance to win that truck by kicking a 45-yard field goal. If the field goal is good, somebody's got themselves a brand new truck.
Easier said than done there on the 45-yard field goal. Wow.
Absolutely.
Woo.
Yeah, the only kicker in MTCS history that really could make that with any consistency would have been Sammy Harris, the All-State kicker from many years ago.
Regardless, a cool little promotion there that MTCS has going.
Oh, that's a little bit more than cool. That's
yeah. Oh, no, definitely.
You should have people busting down the doors to sign up for that.
Exactly. Well, something cool, we mentioned it earlier, the MTCS, greatest MTCS football moments in the history of MTCS football. We're going to start out moment number 5 here tonight on this Week 1 matchup against Ezell-Harding. The moment number 5 is the game against White House Heritage, October 24th, 2008. The long pass from Scott Bartleson to Eric Compton. Here it is again for your listening pleasure.
We want to thank you for joining us as the Cougars get set to host the Patriots of White House Heritage High. Bartleson's going to drop to throw, going to look over the middle, and it's going to be caught by Kyle Pitts, and he's going to be planted up near the 40. He's going to throw it long for Eric Compton.
Compton's wide open.
He caught it down at the 30-yard line. Breaks another tackle, 40.
Dylan Wade.
And going to be knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
And that's his 1,000 yards.
There is 1,000 yards for Dylan Wade. Going to go from the spread again. 4 receivers set, this time 3 to the right. 1 to the left is Eric Compton. Bartleson in the gun on 4th down and a mile. Bartleson drops. Going to fire long for Compton. Who's got it?
He's caught in the end zone!
Cougar! Oh my goodness! And it's going to be intercepted by R.J. Miller.
R.J. Miller, the guy that got burned many times last week, has just won his team the ball game.
This game is over. The final score from Thornberry Stadium, 20-13.
How fun was that, right? And that was almost 5 years ago this October.
The blast from the past.
Or 4 years ago this October, but unbelievable moment.
Should have been a volume warning before we started that.
Yeah, we got a little excited. And, yeah.
But nevertheless, number 5 on the list of your top 5 MTCS moments in Cougar history.
And you'll see number 4, or you'll hear number 4. I believe it's in 3 weeks, I believe is the next home game. Or maybe 4 weeks.
It's at the end of September.
My goodness, we are August.
The Cougars
August
are over a
24th.
month away from the next time that they will host a team at the Throne. I believe it's Community.
Yeah, we got a little while. That's that's interesting.
So let's catch you up on some of the scores from around District 9. Some of the teams involved in games tonight. Cascade at halftime, trailing Joe Burns 6-0.
We're going to remind everyone that the concession stand is open.
Wrong microphone. Eagleville and McEwen.
Chicken sandwiches from Bojangles.
Nobody is reporting that game, so go to ballfrog.com, sign up as a reporter if you are with McEwen or Eagleville, and let people know what the score is of that game. Laverne and Wilson Central have not had an update since their first quarter. 6-0 is still the score there. Wilson Central in the lead. The Brentwood Bruins hold a 20-0 halftime lead over the Smyrna Bulldogs. So Matt Williams and company not having a great start to their 2012 so far. Blackman in the second quarter leads Pearl Cone 14-7. Siegel has not had an update since the first quarter. So that 28-0 score over Lincoln County still stands as of right now. Here at halftime at the Throne, Thornberry Stadium, it's 7-6 MTCS. And it's Columbia Academy over Huntland 21-0. Oakland just all over Hunter's Lane. It is 42-0 in the second quarter. Grace Baptist Academy beating the Cannon County Lions thus far 19-0. That is late in the first half. Silverdale Academy holds a tenuous 6-0 lead over the Community Vikings at the half. We don't have a score for the Forest at Collinwood game yet. Moore County, though, has taken a 20-0 first quarter lead over the Cornersville Bulldogs. So Community, a surprising team, have a chance to have one of their best seasons ever. Last year was their best season. They had a 3-win season. They beat MTCS for the first time, and they had their first preseason All-State selection this year in wide receiver Zach James. And September 28th will be when the Vikings travel up Highway 99 into Murfreesboro to take on the Cougars. So that is your halftime show here from Thornberry Stadium. We will take a short break and step away. Come back for the second half kickoff. You're watching Cougar football on the TSSAA network.
See ya. Welcome back here. Time for the second half of play. Just in time, as a matter of fact, as the kick is away. Very short, taken up at around the 30-yard line. And a great return there by Peyton Buckner up to his own 48.
23-yard return for Buck.
Somewhere Mr. Buckner is very excited.
Where, we don't know, but
we don't know where. But somewhere.
There's a sea of orange and white out here in the home side of Thornberry Stadium.
Hand off there to Tanner Green. Green gets stacked up right as he approached the line of scrimmage.
Number 32, Tanner Green on the carry.
So MTCS trying to maybe match the intensity of the Eagle run game.
It's really tough, though. This Eagle run game, the offensive line, just the way they play, they're really able to open up a lot of holes, and they're so fast. The quarterback, Blake Smotherman, can really find lanes, and he's a very elusive runner. So they will call it no gain. Here's Hoffauer is back to throw. Hoffauer intended for Oakley Starling. It is incomplete, but that might be a pass interference, but there is going to be no flag. That very well could have been called. The arm got grabbed.
Well, Hoffbauer, including that pass now, 0 for his last 4 after starting out 7 of 9. Those quick in routes, those quick cuts and slants worked to perfection early in the game. That one, a little ticky-tack by that defender for Ezell.
So 3rd down 10 now. Back to pass here. Got some time, but some pressure came late. Looking to run. He crosses the 50, gets hit hard right at midfield. Big time hit there. Only a gain of 3 yards. He will be at the 50. You go for it, you don't go for it. 4th down 7.
At this point, you've got the lead. Your defense has been playing stellar.
Great point. Great point.
Referees discussing the spot here.
There's
a flag in the defensive backfield right around the Ezell 42-yard line. Did they finally decide to throw a pass interference flag?
It is a defensive holding, though. That will be an automatic MTCS 1st down. So pick up a 3rd down conversion via the penalty. You'll take it anyway.
Absolutely. And it counts.
Exactly.
It counts on the stat sheet as a 3rd down conversion.
They don't ask how you convert on 3rd down. They just ask that you convert. So 1st down now. And they're at the Ezell-Harding 40-yard line. The drive stays alive. Hoffauer, handoff to Green. Green's got some room across the 35, up to around the 31, 9 yards. No, it looks like maybe around 10 yards, close to his 1st down.
Brings up 2nd down and short.
Yeah, called about 9.
About as close to
about
10.
About 9.5 maybe.
Yeah, as close to 10 as you can get without actually getting 10. Wow. But again, 2 hands on the football from start to finish by Tanner Green.
Hoffauer. Slow developing play, but Green takes the handoff. He will get the 1st down. He crosses the 30 up to the 28. That is an MTCS 1st down.
Tanner Green on the carry.
It's been exclusively Tanner Green in the backfield at running back here so far in the game with the absence of Zach Brandon.
So another gain of 3 for Tanner Green.
No other running backs even got a carry to this point, actually. So it's been all Tanner Green in the backfield from start to this point in the game so far.
Going with a 2 running back set now.
Hand off to Green again. Over to the left, looking for some room across the 30 again. A gain of maybe 1 yard.
32.
But the Cougars trying to grab the tempo
exactly
back from Ezell. At the end of the 1st half, Ezell, run after run after run, had those last couple of bombs to try to get them in a position to maybe put some more points on the board, but it was clock management and ball possession. And this is what MTCS is trying to duplicate now. So effectively no gain for Green on that run. Already 3 minutes gone in the third quarter.
Hoffbauer back to pass. Going deep. Looking for Oakley Starling, and Oakley Starling has caught it. He fumbled it. He just goes and recovers it, though, just in case. They're going to call that a pass and catch down at the 1-yard line.
Holy cow.
That's going to be a 26-yard gain to Oakley Starling and a 1st and goal.
Pass is complete to number 3, Oakley Starling. And that's another Bojangles. First down.
Wow.
What a receiving core this MTCS squad has.
He had the defender all over him, and that time Oakley Starling made no mistake.
The hands and the route running ability of these players and the youth. I mean, Oakley Starling is the, like you said last week, the elder statesman of the group, and he's a junior. So very impressive there by Starling and by Hoffbauer on the throw. First down and goal at the 1.
Expect Hoffbauer to go right up under center. Quick snap and a sneak.
And that's what he does. And he gets into the end zone for a Cougar touchdown. Second rushing touchdown of the year for Brent Hoffbauer.
In the spread offense, where passing is the key, and you're going to throw it all over the field, the Cougars have 2 touchdowns on the ground.
And 3 touchdowns on the year on the ground.
Right.
So way to come out after halftime here.
Whoa.
Low snap there, and the extra point is blocked. So the extra points wipe each other out now, so it's a 7-point game, 13-6, MTCS.
No, that was a bad snap, and Hoffbauer could not get the handle on it until it was too late. A big paw got up there for Ezell. But Bonnaby in his first PAT try looks like he might be a good option there in the kicking game, and he's gotten his kickoffs pretty deep tonight.
Yeah, and he's able to get the extra points up, getting them elevated, so he's able to get them through.
So that 27-yard throw to Oakley Starling ends Hoffbauer's run of 0 for 4. 1 for his last 5 now for that 27 yards.
But MTCS does get a touchdown, leading here 13-6, 8:50 to go here in quarter number 3. Siegel all over Lincoln County, 42-0. Probably late in the second there. Blackman leading Pearl-Cohn, 17-14. Brentwood up on Smyrna at half, 20-0. Laverne leading Wilson Central at half as well, 12-6. Joe Burns still leading at half, 6-0 over Cascade.
So we want to remind you this third quarter is brought to you by thisiscougarfootball.com. After the broadcast ends tonight, you can still keep up with the Cougars. Read game previews, see stats, all sorts of good things at thisiscougarfootball.com.
Squib kick, and it takes a good Cougar roll all the way down to the 13. Running down the field, and it's a fumble! No idea who has this ball right here. We will have to see. Ezell-Harding recovers. Number 16, Elijah Pankey, lost that ball. What a turn of events that would have been if MTCS was able to recover.
And that was Philip Bonnaby with the crunching hit and the forced fumble. Ezell can't hold on to the ball tonight, Jeremy.
They have tons of bad snaps, fumbles all over the place. They have definitely had a hard time holding on to the ball, and to this point, MTCS, correct me if I'm wrong, no turnovers to this point.
Not at all.
Yeah, I thought I was right. It is Knipp under center here after halftime.
Uh-oh.
Handoff right up the middle in a huge hole. My goodness. My goodness, that is Smotherman out of the backfield. Smotherman could go all the way. Austin Melton, and Smotherman tripped over his own feet. Smotherman was was in the backfield at running back. I didn't even pay attention to him being there. Took the handoff. He is the most talented runner on this team, and he showed it yet again.
All the way down to the Cougar 15-yard line.
And would have been gone had not for him tripping over his own foot.
But Smotherman again lining up at tailback.
Knipp, handoff right up there to Binkley. Not much there on the play.
There's Nick Merritt.
Nick Merritt, also Franklin Roberts that was in there with help.
Nick Merritt, number 74.
And that's his 5th tackle.
On the stop, along with a host of Cougars.
Only a gain of 1 there.
You're going to stand there. You better be my spotter. No, I can see right.
7:40 and counting, 3rd quarter. MTCS leads 13-6 with the Eagles threatening. Smotherman, the single tailback now.
Smotherman thought he found a hole for a moment, but got gang tackled. Franklin Roberts, the lead man, in on that tackle. In with help was Chris Collins.
Roberts and Collins.
Brent Hoffbauer getting checked over here on the Cougar sidelines. His left hand, his left wrist, no, it's his left fingers that are getting tended to. That's his non-throwing hand.
I was going to say, if you want to look at one positive, at least it's not his throwing hand. Knip, handoff to Smotherman. Smotherman got absolutely just destroyed there. Griffin Harper destroyed him up through the line and was able to take the feet out from under him. And that's hard to do against this guy.
Absolutely. And a nice strategy by Ezell. Moving your quarterback to the running back position. Why not? He has done the most damage to MTCS through the years on the ground.
And it caught MTCS off guard there on that one play that got Ezell down here.
And now it is 4th down inside the Cougar 10 at the 8.
And they're going for it, obviously, as you would expect.
Watch a rollout pass here by Gnip.
Or handoff up the middle to Austin Binkley, and Binkley will get up and get the first down inside the 5. Ezell's close to tying this game here, Jason.
Hamrick in there makes the tackle.
First and goal for the Eagles.
And a missed extra point on either side now makes this a nice 7-point game. So the Eagles can take the lead with a 2-point conversion, but if they try the PAT, the best thing to do is tie.
Exactly.
I expect to give to Smotherman here.
It is at the 1. It is Binkley. And Binkley gets stuffed. No gain on the play for Binkley.
Who's the first Cougar there?
On the carry, stopped by the left side of the Cougar line.
I saw Hamrick getting up.
Hamrick was there.
In on the stop.
Sam Mathis comes in now. So we'll credit Hamrick with the tackle.
Mathis in for Collins.
Now you're going to want Bryson Hamrick in the center of your line here.
Yes. And off to Smotherman. What a defensive surge by this MTCS defense. A loss on the play. Peyton Buckner. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What an absolute. The whole line seemed to just collapse this offensive line from the start.
If you're Ezell, no reason to turn away from the run game here.
No, but excellent job, though, by this defense. And they're going to say he didn't lose any yards. It's just no gain on the play.
Flag down. Illegal shift.
So that's a 5-yard penalty. It's going to push them back another 5.
Oh,
so
well, no, not illegal shift. It was a substitution infraction. Excuse me, Jeremy.
But still, the 5-yard variety.
Yes.
And move move Ezell-Harding back 5 more yards. Make it a little more difficult.
Just outside the 5-yard line now. This may actually work in Ezell's favor. Opens up a little bit more of the field to open up the short passing game.
It's a great point.
It's all on the defensive line, though, to get pressure. That's the first thing you have to do.
Yep. Hand off to Smotherman.
He's going to get there.
Smotherman going into the end zone for a Ezell-Harding touchdown.
Well, not a lot you can do there. The fleet feet of Smotherman all the way to the outside. It's a good job to cut off the interior holes, but you leave the edges exposed, and Smotherman took advantage.
So a point away here from tying the game, should they go for the PAT, which we shall see.
Smotherman was heading off the field. They called him back in.
Appears they may go for 2 here. after the failed extra point last time. Yeah, Gnip staying under center.
And there's another flag for a substitution. Late man coming off.
Yeah, that was pretty late.
Flag on the play.
Cranston Gentry took a while getting off the field.
5-yard penalty.
They broke the huddle with 12 men, and then Gentry decides to come lollygagging off the field, and they're going to call it every time.
Still expect him to go for it here.
Well, if not then when they were closer, especially now that they're further away.
Exactly.
Gnip's still in there. Looks like he's going to be taking the snap here from the shotgun. No, they're actually going to go back for a PAT. You might want to watch the fake here. Took a long time in setting this up.
Well, they are going to kick it. It is blocked yet again. So MTCS retains the lead yet again after an Ezell-Harding touchdown, 13-12. So every time Ezell-Harding matches an MTCS touchdown, MTCS gets a break and keeps that lead.
It's not a good Cougar home game without a little drama.
Yeah.
1 point game, a little over halfway through the third quarter. Something tells me we're not going to have to worry about the mercy rule tonight.
I have a feeling you might be right.
Cougars have only been penalized one time thus far in this game for 5 yards.
That and also the no turnovers thus far in the game. And another thing they needed to work on, third downs, and they're doing much better on that in this game, 3 of 6. So 3 things we said they needed to work on: turnovers, third downs, offensive line protection. They're 3 for 3 thus far in the game in the third quarter so far. I mean, very good job in improving all of those things in the week of preparation.
Hoffbauer with 120 yards passing. Green with 37 yards, rushing and a touchdown. And now the kickoff from Ezell.
Caught but dropped by Wynn, but he will kick it up at his own 8. Wynn looking for some room, and he is in some trouble.
Just protect the ball.
Number 11, Justin Wynn.
So it turns out to be a 6-yard return for Justin Wynn. Cougars will start with their worst field position of the night at their own 15-yard line. But as we saw last week, 99 yards is not that far for this Cougar team.
After last week, you never know. I mean, this MTCS passing attack is very, very good, and they can really get down the field in a hurry. Hoffbauer to throw. Over to Melton. Melton catches it at his own 20 up to the 25. That is an MTCS first down.
11-yard catch.
To number 9, Austin Melton.
Good little quick passing catch and a quick first down to get you out of that little hole you were in to start the drive.
And now Melton coming to the sidelines, limping, favoring his left leg.
Bojangles, first down.
Working on Melton's left leg. Looks like a cramp.
Hoffbauer, hand off to Tanner Green. Tanner Green gets smothered by number 71, Justin Woodard, right when he got to the line of scrimmage.
Here again, a couple of drives, a couple of possessions. Offensive line missing a couple of blocks here. Gain of 1 for Tanner Green.
The overall tonight, they've done a good job, but, here and there we see those moments where, a little bit of last week creeps in and we begin to wonder, you got to protect. You only have a 1-point lead here in the third quarter. Hoffbauer has some time. He's rolling to his left, trying to find some room to run. Doesn't have a whole lot of it. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage, and that is about all as third down is upcoming.
No gain. Brings up third down.
Yeah, it's no gain for Hoffbauer. Green coming to the huddle now with the play.
3rd down 9, definitely manageable situation here. We'll see what the Cougars draw up.
2:38 and counting in the third quarter. MTCS with a 1-point lead.
From their own from their own 27, Over to Wynn. It was a screen pass. Did not gain anything as 4th down will come up. He may have actually lost a yard on the play there.
Screen pass to number 11, Justin Wynn. Brings up 4th down.
So that play just didn't have a whole lot going for it. The offensive line didn't get over there to protect for that screen play, and MTCS will be forced to punt the ball away now.
And they're definitely setting up for it.
Already under 2 minutes to go in the third here.
This has been a scorcher of a game.
Yes, it has.
time-wise.
Almost blocked. May have been partially blocked, actually. Taking the Cougar roll, it'll die right around the Cougar 45. Ezell will take over there.
So a 20-yard punt by Hoff there.
And it looked to be that one got a little bit deflected because that one really just died as it got across the line of scrimmage.
Minute 36 to go, third quarter. MTCS with the slimmest of leads, 13-12 over Ezell-Harding. But their best performance of the last couple of years thus far. MTCS will take their first BVI printing timeout of the second half.
Cascade up on Joe Burns, now 7-6 in the third.
Columbia Academy having no problem with Huntland, 28-7 now.
And Oakland having no problem with Hunters Lane, 49-0. Community down 12-6. They are 1-0 on the season thus far. So used to be that if they were to get a win, that would be about the only win. But they have definitely improved their team and have a preseason all-state member on their squad.
Yeah, they had their best season last year with 3 total wins.
Exactly.
And one of those, unfortunately, was over MTCS.
Yes.
So a big test here for the defense late in the third quarter. Ball on the Cougar side of the 50. And Ezell with a chance to take the lead for the first time in this game if they can put a drive together and get into the end zone. So MTCS in a close game like this will want to hold on to those BVI printing timeouts. Only 2 remaining now. We're still in the third quarter.
Might need them later, that's for sure, especially if you need them to mount a final drive for any sort of reason. Yep. That's Smotherman with the handoff. Smotherman always having room to run here as he crosses the MTCS 30, as he crosses the MTCS 25, down near the 20 at around the 22. That's a first down, Ezell-Harding, and they are on the move.
Yeah, Harper saved a touchdown there.
Smotherman, it seems like every time he gets the ball, if he doesn't gain 10 yards at least, it's a shocker. I mean, he is always on the move, and his offensive line does a good job for him. You got to give them credit.
Something I'm worried about, Jeremy, in between about the 25 and 15-yard lines down here in the north end zone, everybody's tripping. Smotherman tripped a couple of times. Austin Melton just tripped and fell.
Interesting point. Smotherman again looking for some room. Peyton Buckner misses the tackle. Finally gets taken down over there.
Trey Hickey. Trey Hickey with his first appearance on the stat sheet tonight. Again, Trey Hickey went into the record books last week as a freshman with 2 interceptions, tied the record set by Chris Beasley back in 2008 right here at Thornberry Stadium. 2 fourth-quarter interceptions against Forest that propelled the Cougars into the playoffs for the very first time.
2nd down and 6 now, so 4-yard gain for Smotherman. That's good when you can hold him to that. Handoff up the middle. That is Gentry. Gentry fighting for yardage. The man holding onto his feet as he came down looks to be Nick Merritt.
Yes.
Tackled by number 10, Nick Merritt.
Close to a first down. It'll be 3rd down and about 2 or 3.
Down, brings up 3rd down at about 2 yards.
Here again, 4-down territory unless there's a turnover.
This might be the last play of the third quarter here.
In an easy time at quarterback for Gannett when you got Gentry and Smotherman behind you.
Absolutely. Hand off to Gentry. Gentry right up the middle. He's going to have the first down, and that is the end of the third quarter.
Gavin Burgess makes the tackle.
So here we are, end of 3, 13-12 MTCS. Jason, we have one heck of a game here coming with 12 minutes left. And that missed extra point now makes it an uneven score. So this thing should get really interesting here with Ezell-Harding down there in scoring range. 1 week after a pretty lopsided game, what a turn of events here in week number 1 and game number 2.
And everybody knew that this Cougar team had this in them to be competitive. And,
oh, absolutely.
And really going into last week, all the unknowns, and one of the biggest unknowns was how good is Nashville Christian going to be? Well, they proved that pretty well. Did the Eagles of Nashville Christian. They could be a contender in
like
Region 10 this year. Or District 10, excuse me.
Liquidation Outlet. Evans Auto Group.
That's just what we need here tonight for my heart.
And John Robert
A nice close game with the Cougars looking to even their record at 1-1.
Which would match, as you know, their win total from 2011 already in week number 1.
Getting it this early in the year with nothing but improvement on the horizon for this team.
Yes.
Now we have the patriarch of the first family of Cougar football here tonight, Jeremy. Tom Brunsvold roaming the sidelines on the home side of the fence this time and not out there with the team.
How many nicknames have we come up with for him
there's
over
too
the years?
many to count here, but do you suppose he's going to take credit for showing up tonight and giving the Cougars a win?
I think he might.
Yeah.
Look, anybody who's friends with him on Facebook, just look for him to post something later if the Cougars can hold on here. First down and goal at the 6. Gannett. Hand off to Smotherman. Smotherman around the outside. Smotherman looking for the end zone. They're going to say no. He's just short. Gain of about 5.5. Down there near the goal line. Second and goal. So close, though. This Ezell-Harding team looking to take the lead here.
So 3 shots to punch it in here. The ball resting an inch from the goal line. Gannett may want to push it forward himself here and get pushed in the back by Binkley and Smotherman.
And this would be Ezell-Harding's first lead. Gannett going into the end zone for a touchdown, and Ezell takes the lead for the first time.
Well, that was a false start by Austin Binkley, but oh well.
Number 11 on the carry. Touchdown, Ezell-Harding.
But still, the missed extra point leaves that window open unless they were to go for 2.
See, number 8, McLean, is on for an extra point.
And the way it's been going there for the extra point attempts, not too good so far. 0 for 2. So we'll see if they can get it this. No, they're going to go for 2. Smotherman's under center with Gentry and Binkley behind him.
This would push it to a 7-point lead.
He's going to throw. Over to his right. Caught by McLean, and he is in the end zone for the 2-point conversion. We have a 7-point game, 20-13 now.
2-point conversion is good.
Had him wrapped up, and the receiver out there for Ezell got just enough of a chip block on the defender out there. I believe it was Melton or Harper in order to allow the receiver to get into the end zone. What a heartbreaker for MTCS.
Now there's work to do.
Offense needs to move the ball like they did to begin the first half. And they're very capable of doing that.
Oh, no question about it. But MTCS facing their first bit of adversity here of the night here early in the fourth quarter. The good part about that is it is early in the fourth quarter. So plenty of time here to go.
So 42-0, Siegel leads over Lincoln County. That one hasn't been updated in a while. Pearl Cone making a game of it with Blackman. It is 17-14 in the second half. Brentwood now just running away with it over Smyrna, 27-0. Laverne and Wilson Central are tied at 12 in the second half. Cascade holding a tenuous fourth quarter lead over Joe Burns at 7-6. Columbia Academy and Huntland still at 28-7. And it's 56-0 Oakland over Hunters Lane late in the game. Silverdale now extending their lead over Community. It's 18-6 in the fourth quarter.
Kickoff is away. Griffin Harper back to receive. Harper looking for some running room here as he reaches up to the 30-yard line, maybe the 31. That's where MTCS will start this drive, and you just got to get back going to basics here. Plenty of time left, and you're only down a possession, so just get back to what was working early.
2 timeouts in your pocket. Put together a good scoring drive here, tie it up, and put the onus back on your defense.
That touchdown they left out there, first drive of the game, is really hurting right now because we very well could have a tie game already. Hoffbauer to throw. Going deep. That's for a win. Oh, Justin Wynn, what a catch! My goodness, Justin Wynn can sure catch the ball. Holy cow.
26 yards.
Hoffbauer puts it up for him, and Justin Wynn has outstanding hands. Him and Oakley Starling both. Unbelievable. We saw the potential in them last year. This year, they have expanded upon that potential and just grown into really good receivers.
Justin Wynn plays 3 sports here at MTCS. Football, one of his best.
Hoffbauer handoff to Tanner Green. Green looking for some room and is not going to have much of it. No gain on the play. Outside of the one run by Tanner Green for the touchdown, he had one other good run for 9, but outside of that, very little going. Very little room for him.
So no gain whatsoever for Tanner Green.
But that pass, that's exactly what this team can do. This offensive attack with this receiving quarter and Hoffbauer throwing the ball, it is very potent. Whistles and a stoppage.
Equipment issue for Kyle Howard.
Looks like it was corrected very fast, though. And here we go. Hoffbauer to throw. Going deep for Wynn again. He is open. Not that time, though. Is that intercepted?
Are they going to call it intercepted? Yes, they are.
Matthew Knipp intercepted the pass.
Wow.
It's one of those moments you wish you had instant replay in high school football.
That is a certain.
As I would love to see that one more time.
That's certainly a dagger there. Well, Hoffbauer did what he had to do to give his receiver the best chance of catching it. Well, the chips just fell where they may. And if Brian Stewart had a challenge flag right now, it would be on the field.
Yes. So MTCS must get a stop here. 10:31 to go in the game. And off. Guess who? Blake Smotherman. Blake Smotherman, a huge hole around the outside. Smotherman may be gone. Smotherman across midfield. Smotherman going down the field. Peyton Buckner is the only man who can catch him. He will not catch him. And that is an 87-yard touchdown run for Blake Smotherman.
Wow.
And he just goes all the way, and they're up 2 possessions now.
2 plays, and it can turn just like that. Defensive end loses containment, and Smotherman is really working those edges like a champ.
Smotherman has outstanding running ability.
74, 53-yarders last year against MTCS. How about an 87-yarder this year?
My goodness.
And it has been all Blake Smotherman here. He has scored every point for Ezell outside of the extra points.
It's one of the nasty things about football. One moment you think you're in it, the next moment something like that happens. I mean, just a minute ago, the Cougars were driving down the field, interception, bam, 1 play later, 87 yards.
Now Brian Stewart will get them refocused really quick. 10-11 to go in the football game, down by 14 when you were leading by 1 coming out of the half.
Wow.
How does this young team respond now? What is the mental state? Something you brought up last week, Jeremy Smith. Who is the vocal leader on this team? Who is?
I've yet to find that out.
The man in the huddle, the man on the sidelines that keeps the spirits up, that keeps them in this game, keeps the mental focus at its highest level.
And I really wish I knew that answer immediately, but so far I have not seen that one guy. Not saying there's not leaders on this team, but you really want to have that, at least that one guy that's the vocal guy that will rally the troops whenever times are tough, like they are right now, down 2 scores in the fourth. Kick is away. Griffin Harper catches it at his own 14. Harper looking for some room up to about his own 30. There is a flag thrown immediately. To see what the call is.
Number 20, Griffin Harper on the return. There is a flag on the play.
17-yard return. And a block in the back on the Cougars now.
Well, not what you want to do here. Back yourselves up.
.10:04 left in the game. MTCS will take possession at its own 19-yard line. So some work to do for the offense of the Cougars.
And we'll see what they can do here. First down. Hoffbauer to throw. Under some pressure, he's got to get rid of it. He gets rid of it at the absolute last possible moment before he gets drilled.
In the direction of Oakley Starling. That almost developed into the same situation as the first play last week, Jeremy.
Yes.
Being chased from behind. Melton now out of the game. Oh, no, he's just coming to the sideline to get the huddle. Or to get the play.
To get the huddle?
To get the huddle to bring him the play, yeah. Now Peyton Buckner coming in, coming out. What's he doing? Coming to the sidelines.
Coming in, coming out. All right, we go second down. Over to his right. Caught over there to the right side. Who was it that made that catch? That looked to be, if I'm not mistaken, that looked to be Zach.
2-yard
okay,
catch.
no, that was Jordan Evans. Excuse me.
Sorry.
Jordan Evans on the reception. Brings up third down.
Lost the number there for some reason. I apologize. So third down now at 9.
Another third down try here for MTCS. Need a conversion badly.
Hoffbauer, pressure is coming. He's got to get rid of it. Oh, and Tanner Green cannot make the catch.
Screen pass falls incomplete. Brings up fourth down.
So a 3 and out here. MTCS is forced to punt. And Ezell-Harding is getting the ball back that quickly. Jason, this game looks so good for MTCS, and all of a sudden here, at the turn of a dime, it is just all of a sudden going the other direction.
High school football in Tennessee, Jeremy. What else can you say?
Football in general, it's the way it is. Good bounce, though. All the way back inside the Ezell 40, down to about the 38. So a good good punt for Hoffbauer there. Only 9 minutes and 4 seconds left to go in this game here.
So there's a 42-yard punt by Hoff. We'll get some updated scores here from ballfrog.com. Or not before this play. Refresh rate is a little slow here.
Good nail.
A big stop here. Wow. Huge.
Hand off to Austin Binkley. Austin Binkley still on his feet. Austin Binkley going down the sideline. Austin Binkley, my goodness, it takes everything the Cougars can do. Chaz Chaffin finally. Jason, you can give me your opinion on this. Turning point of the game, moving Gnip to quarterback and Blake Smotherman to the tailback. That seemed to have turned this whole game around for Ezell-Harding. They have really just exploded on offense.
That is the quintessential halftime adjustment.
Yes. Since that moment, the offense of Ezell-Harding, not that they were bad early because they had some good runs, but giving Smotherman just the ability to run the ball only has really opened this team up. Handoff. There is Austin Binkley again. My goodness, another hole and another Ezell-Harding first down.
Chaffin with another tackle.
Chaffin is chasing down Austin Binkley all over the place.
Your secondary having to make tackles in the run game is not a good thing.
Not at all.
They've gone from their own 38-yard line to the Cougar 28 in 2 plays.
Hand off, Cranston Gentry. And they seem to get just chunks of yardage every time one of them takes the ball.
Well, the Cougars are letting the plays come to them at this point, Jeremy. They're not attacking the ball. They're waiting for Gentry and Smotherman to come to them, come to their area in order to make the tackle. Play recognition. They know it's going to be a run. They need to attack at the point of the run and bring the runner down early.
Penalty on the play here. Motion before the snap.
False start, Ezell-Harding.
Well, the defense is probably really frustrated, too, Jason. Everything that's happened so far in the game, feeling really good about themselves for a while there, and then all of a sudden the turn of events that has happened here in just the past, 10 minutes or so.
Frank Roberts, 74, on the sidelines for this drive. He is one of your big defensive ends.
Been interesting.
Now senior Kyle Howard coming out, and 50 for the Cougars. Jake Fuhrer coming in.
Toss back to Smotherman. There's another flag, though.
Flag in the offensive backfield and a hold.
So that's about the only thing that's causing the 2 things have caused Ezell to go backwards tonight. Penalties and bad snaps. Outside of that, they've really done a good job at running the ball. They have just absolutely shredded MTCS running the ball. And don't forget, Smotherman also an extremely long kickoff return for a touchdown after the opening touchdown, or after the early touchdown by MTCS in the second quarter.
So 7:57 to go in the ball game. Community crawling back into their game with Silverdale. The Seahawks lead the Vikings 18-12 now in the 4th.
It is Smotherman again. Finally gets wrapped up after a gain of only maybe about 4 or so.
That is 58, Chris Collins on the tackle.
58, Chris Collins on the tackle.
So forcing a 3rd down and long now thanks to the penalties. Clock continues to run. Valuable time ticking off the clock.
Especially when you're down 2 possessions and the other team has the ball.
And this will be, again, 4-down territory for Ezell trying to pick this up. So they're going to run it down close to 5 minutes. And MTCS is going to have their work cut out for them if they want to get back in this ball game.
Gnip to throw. And it's, could have been intercepted there. Over there was Justin Wynn. And we know how good of hands he has. So that will stop the clock.
7:08, your time remaining.
And for everyone next week, we will be traveling on the road. Come out and see your Cougars play as we travel to Cascade. They are on the road, obviously, tonight at Joe Burns. So Cougars traveling up to play the champions on Friday night, a week from now.
Yep, on the 31st, district play will open in District 9. And the champions, again, Jeremy, another team hit by youth.
Yes.
No, there are no more car cuffs.
Finally. Punt is away. It's caught? No, it's dropped by Wynn. And Wynn fumbled it. Oh, man, this is dangerous. I don't know who has it at this point, way down there in the corner. Looks like MTCS may have did recover it here.
At the 1.
But my goodness, that's one of the only things Wynn has done wrong tonight.
All right, we need a 99-yard drive again, Jeremy.
In about 3 minutes, and then get an onside kick and get the ball, or not, maybe not an onside kick. We get the ball back quickly.
Not an insurmountable advantage here, Jeremy, but the Cougars have to move it in a hurry. Hoffbauer is not going to have time to sneak it. He's going to have to go from the shotgun in his own end zone.
Back to throw. Going deep. He's got Oakley Starling wide open, Jason. Oh, and he overthrew him. Had Oakley wide open, and he overthrew him. That would have been a huge opening play of this drive.
Well, that was good arm strength by Brent Hoffbauer. Just unloading. Now Melton's going to come out, and Buckner's going to come in along with Starling at the receiver spot. So second down now inside their own 1-yard line.
Hoffbauer's just going to sneak it this time.
Not a lot there.
Not a lot there, and it runs the clock.
So now MTCS 3 of 8 on third downs. This will be their 9th try of the game. Six and a half minutes to go in the ball game.
Hoffbauer to throw here. Throw it over. That's Jordan Evans. But no, it is intercepted out of the hands of Jordan Evans into the hands of Rodney Garnett. And unfortunately, that just may do it in this game here as Ezell-Harding has it down deep in Cougar territory. And the Cougars still down 2 scores. 6:11 to go.
That was good hands by Garnett. That ball almost hit the ground, but he was able to pounce on it, get his hands underneath it.
To his defense, the pass was behind Jordan Evans, but it's an unfortunate turn of events there as MTCS commits a turnover.
Now at the 11.
Hands off to Gentry. Not a whole lot there.
Chris
but
Collins.
Again, I say not a whole lot. He gets close to the 5-yard line. He just doesn't get, 10 to 15 like normal.
Chris Collins in a bad mood trying to sling Gentry around.
Gain of 6. Down to the 5. Handoff. Gentry. Chris Collins bringing him down after a short gain.
Collins taking out some frustration. So the Cougars held scoreless in the second half thus far.
58, Chris Collins on the stop.
And you're right, Jeremy. That move by Calvin Hall to put Smotherman back at the running back position has opened up all sorts of options for this Eagle offense in the second half.
You almost wonder if that's one of those things they'll stick with for the rest of 2012, and as long as it's working.
As long as Gannett only has to turn around and hand it off, absolutely.
Yeah. And off to Gentry again. Gentry breaking tackles, going forward, and he's got a touchdown for Ezell-Harding.
Nick Merritt makes his 7th tackle, but it's not enough to keep Gentry out of the end zone.
Well, unfortunately, with that touchdown, the MTCS at this point all but over here, going to fall to 0-2 after such a promising beginning to this game.
Now here again, this young team, I mean, while they know how to play football, they were uncomfortable with the lead.
Sure seemed that way. They were up 7-6, couldn't extend it. Did extend it to 13-6 after missing the extra point, but then they come back 13-12. weren't able to rebound after Ezell took the lead, though, and it's pretty much just kind of just come apart at the seams here, 34-13, and really was a much closer game for 3/4 of the game.
Yep, after a first half that was mostly running, was less than an hour run off real time for that first half. Second half's kind of slowed down, a lot of scoring taking place.
22-0, the score here in the fourth quarter in favor of obviously Ezell-Harding. I mean, that's what can you do at that point? I mean, if you get outscored by 22 points, you're probably going to lose a game if you get outscored by that much in a quarter.
That's the first Ezell touchdown of the game that has not been scored by Blake Smotherman. Blackman up on Pearl Cone now, 24-14. Siegel, no problems with Lincoln County. They're up 49-0. Laverne trailing Wilson Central now 20-12. And Cascade pulling away from Joe Burns now. It's 14-6 late. 41-7 Columbia Academy all over Huntland. And the same can be said of the Oakland Patriots. They are 56-7 winners over Hunters Lane.
Was that all?
Oh, that's all.
That's all? Only 7.
26-7 Cannon County trails Grace Baptist.
Kickoff is away. Wynn will receive it at his own 15. Wynn across the 25. Gets tackled from behind. That is Matthew Gnip with the tackle.
Justin Wynn on the return.
A 12-yard return for Wynn.
And I know we didn't have the score on the Ball Frog website, but Eagleville is leading McEwen in the fourth 25-7.
So the Eagles of Eagleville look to even their record, as well as the Eagles of Ezell-Harding. They look to be on their way to a 1-1 record heading into week 2. Silverdale looks like they're going to beat Community. It's 24-12 late. And Moore County has come out over Cornersville. It's 26-12, or it was in the third quarter.
Hoffbauer. Over to throw, and it's overthrown intended for Austin Melton. We have some new receivers in. 15, Clayton Mitchell. Give you the new numbers. Starling is still in. And it looks like Jordan Evans is still in, but they are going to start rotating in some younger. I say younger. This team is very young, but some of the guys down the depth chart just to get them some playing time with this game being out of reach.
Leo Arante's in on the offensive line. Gavin Burgess still in there at center with Hamrick at left guard. Franklin Roberts has not gone back in the game. He's been pretty much a no-show in this second half.
Hoffbauer going to take it himself there.
Hoffbauer on the keeper.
Hoff lost his helmet there. So Hoff is going to have to come out here thanks to the new TSSAA rule on that.
And if you lose your helmet for a play, you have to come out for a play. So Payne Buckner come in for one snap. And you almost wonder if they just leave him in the rest of the game.
Yeah.
With this game being out of reach, don't risk losing your starter in a game that is now all but lost.
So Buckner, a glimpse of the future here at the Throne.
Yeah.
Be a junior next year.
Southpaw.
Left-handed quarterback takes the snap.
Good little throw, but dropped by Justin Wynn there.
Peyton Buckner's pass intended for Justin Wynn. Incomplete. Brings up fourth down.
So 3 of 10 now on third downs for MTCS.
Looked like they were really going to improve on it early, but is really collapsed on the converting of third downs here late, especially in the second half where they've gone scoreless.
And again, like we said, the Cougars with a lead at halftime for the first time since 2010. So they have to learn to extend their play through the break and keep up the intensity.
Justin Wynn with the punt. Take a Cougar roll inside the 40, inside the 35, and it will roll dead at the 33.
So a 42-yard punt for a win.
33-yard line. First down, Eagles.
Those quick kicks, very effective. You had a 42 right there by Wynn, a 42 by Hoff earlier, and a 44-yarder by Hoffbauer.
So they're working. You just hate that MTCS has to do as many as they have.
3:35 to go, and Ezell's going to rotate in some of their younger players now. McLean in at wide receiver. Gnip still under center. We haven't seen Cedric Crawford tonight, the man who threw the pass to Smotherman last week.
Handoff up the middle there. That is Elijah Pinkney. Looks like they have Smotherman now out of the game.
So Collins and Fuhrer combine on that tackle. Fuhrer with his first tackle of the year. Collins and Merritt both with 7 tackles now on the game. They lead all Cougar defensemen in that category. Chaz Chaffin, Peyton Buckner, Griffin Harper, and Sam Mathis all with 4.
Trainer's over here talking to Nick Merritt. Hand off to Pinkney. Tackle there. See the number here. Sorry about that.
It's Kyle Howard.
Kyle Howard, yep.
Oh, Kyle Howard is in some pain.
Number 54 on the stop, Kyle Howard.
Oh, you hope he's okay.
Wow, he's one of your seniors. It's a tackle for loss.
He got up. He
The stinger.
seems all right. He's moving both arms.
It looks like he was holding his groin, so that's a very, very dangerous area to have a pulled muscle because those linger. Those take a long time to heal up.
Unfortunately so.
Boom!
What a tackle there.
Chris Collins again.
Chris Collins really, like you said, showing his frustration here with this game.
So Jeremy Smith on the road next week in War Trace, facing the Cascade champions, whom the Cougars have never beat, but there are no more car cuffs in War Trace.
Thank goodness.
But the Cougars will see a familiar face in junior running back Dakota Vaught. Transferred to Cascade in the summer.
Because he was expected to be the starting tailback for this Cougar team. I mean, all offseason as the year ended last year. Punt is away. It's very high, but very short. But take an Ezell-Harding roll and die right at the 37-yard line.
So the Cougars will have a minute 26 to work on offense. They may put Buckner in to see what he can do, or they may let Hoffbauer just complete the game at quarterback. And Hoff is coming out onto the field. So Buckner in for one play, an incomplete pass.
Braden Melton into the game.
So we might get to see Hoffbauer wing it out more than he's been allowed to do to this point in the year. Just see what can happen. See if they can get some points on the board.
Melton with the carry and gets blasted hard. Did you see?
Wow.
Really looked like a late hit there by number 71, Justin Woodard. After he took Melton down, he really seemed to really just put an extra hit in on him with his hand. Really, almost looked like a punching motion. Almost looked like a punching motion by Woodard on Melton.
1 minute to go in the game. No gain for Braden Melton.
Hoffbauer, handoff Tanner Green. Green, nothing at all there as he's tackled again by Justin Woodard.
So I'll give him a gain of 1 for Green.
This next play may very well be the last play of this game. And probably will be.
Half a minute to go here. So, Jeremy, what can we expect from next week's matchup, next week's district matchup?
It's going to be a lot different to see, Cascade. I mean, they've about to beat Joe Burns here tonight. As Hoffbauer is going to throw here. Rolling to his left. He's able to skip the sack, but just runs out of bounds and doesn't really gain a whole lot, and it brings up 4th down. Going back to next week, this is going to be a much different Cascade team. So it's going to be interesting to see what they bring to the table. You know, like you said, graduation really hit them hard. They no longer have Carta finally. So it's really tough to say right now because it's not the Cascade team we're used to seeing over the past 4 years. Last play of the game you would expect here. Hoffbauer to throw. Going to go deep. He's got Wynn wide open. It is intercepted, though, by number 10, who we don't have a name for.
Oh, Wynn. Justin Wynn. Favoring that left leg.
Oh, and you hate to see people hurt, period, but especially late in a game when it's already been decided. That is never good to see. Your best receiver.
And Jeremy, coming into the second half, Brent Hoffbauer was 7 of 12 for 93 yards. Since that time, let me do some math.
You go right ahead as we're about to have the last play of the game. Kneel down, and this game is over. Final score 34-13. Ezell-Harding with the win. We're going to go step aside, do a little quick post-game wrap-up, and come back for a quick post-game show. You're watching Cougar Football on the TSSAA Network. All right, welcome back for our quick post-game wrap-up here. Again, unfortunately, the Cougars fall 34-13 to Ezell-Harding. Jay, you got the post-game stats here. You said Hoffbauer started 7 of 12. What did he finish up for the game?
Hoffbauer in the second half went 5 of 13 for a total of 12 of 25 on the game. He did have 157 yards, but he had 3 second-half interceptions. He had 11 carries for -2 yards and a touchdown. So all Oscar Bartleson.
Exactly.
Justin Wynn, the leading receiver, 5 receptions, 91 yards. Tanner Green, 12 carries, 39 yards, and the other touchdown for MTCS. And Oakley Starling added 51 yards on 3 carries. On defense, Clay Mitchell with a tackle. Nick Merritt and Chris Collins leading the way for MTCS on defense tonight. Chris Collins with 8 tackles, 1 for loss. Nick Merritt with 7 tackles. Chaz Chaffin with 4. Peyton Buckner with 4. Sam Mathis with 4. And had half a sack with Franklin Roberts, who had 2 tackles. The Hammer, Bryson Hamrick, had that big sack. He had 3 total tackles. Trey Hickey added a tackle. Jordan Evans batted a pass. Across the board on the defensive stat sheet, the Cougars making plays on defense.
They really did. They got tired in the second half and just really seemed to get outmatched as the game really progressed later in the game. But again, another game, another week. You saw a lot of bright spots, despite the fact that in the second half they really seemed to fade down the stretch, unfortunately.
A good game penalty-wise. Cougars penalized only twice in this game for a total of 15 yards. They were only 3 of 11 on third down conversions and 0 of 2 on fourth down. Kickoff returns. Justin Wynn with a 6 and a 12-yarder. 2 10-yard punt returns. Griffin Harper had a good night on returns. 22 yards, 20 yards, 17 yards on kickoff returns. Peyton Buckner came in for 1 play at quarterback and incompletion to Justin Wynn. And that pretty much completes your game stats here tonight, Jeremy Smith.
Well, we do appreciate everyone watching here tonight as the Cougars and the Ezell-Harding Eagles took to the field. And be sure to join us next week as the Cougars travel to War Trace to face the Cascade Champions. For Jay Bruner, I am Jeremy Smith. Thank you for watching Cougar football on the TSSAA Network.